Welcome everyone to another session of Crituitous RP. Previously, you had uncovered by way of a friend, Jarl Axel, that there was a plot to steal the primordial from the forges of Gauntlgrim. You had made your way quickly to the area and met with King Bruna, where you had found he had a new advisor, who was a drow female, who was helping him get additional wealth from various mines, just doing a pretty good job for him. After spending some time alone with this particular drow female, Lael and Gideon realized that she was actually a shape-changing, very powerful dragon. Unsure of what that all means and transpires, at the same time, Loic, Taman, and Eren were down in the forges of Gauntlgrim, where they saw a drow priestess and a bunch of Dragloth all attempting to make their way to the primordial. Having captured the high priestess and put her in a cell of anti-magic so that no magic can be cast to give her any power. What would you guys like to do with her and with the whole situation? By now, after a couple minutes of having gotten dressed and ready, Lael and Gideon, along with Alust, would easily be able to make their way down towards the forges. However, at this time, Owen and Gamel are still completely unaware of anything having gone down in either situation.
Lael will use her sword to speak to Arun and call Owen to come join them, given that the others said that there was a fight happening.
I'd say 20 to 30 minutes after Loic, Taman, and Eren had managed to get this high priestess into the cell, Lael, Gideon, Gamel, and Owen all turn up, roughly the same time.
Okay, I'm just kind of going to run in and breathlessly says, like, what happened?
Where to begin?
Oh, and Gamel. You guys just missed it. There was this drow priestess with these two wolfy demony things. They were this close.
You mean Lael and Eren?
No. That's good. That's good, though. They were this close to getting to the primordial. We defeated the fiends, and we captured the priestess. We sent word to Lael and Gideon to get down here as quickly as possible, in case there are more coming from the depths. But it sounded like, from what I heard from Loic, that Lael had her own hands full with the dragon, which doesn't make any sense. So we're just going to wait for her to show up, because that sounds just crazy.
She might have been over-exaggerating things.
As you say that, audibly, Lael walks through, and you heard every comment to that, Lael.
You tell me when you're standing in front of a gigantic blue dragon that could easily have you for a snack and then use your sword to pick its teeth with you, and then tell me that you're over-exaggerating.
Lael, you alright?
I thought you were just calling the other drow a dragon.
The other drow was a dragon.
Oh, totally makes sense then.
Well, actually, that doesn't make sense because I thoroughly checked her out and she wasn't giving off any kind of hints of anything of the sort.
You must have missed something because she turned into a very large blue dragon with lightning in her eyes.
Was she dead?
Are you sure it wasn't an illusion?
She left. She plied me for questions. I think she got frustrated that I was playing dumb noble, and she left. She said some very interesting things, actually.
Did she attack?
No, her assassins did, though. One we interrogated, but he's dead now. So Jarl Axel found out about that whole contract due to it being picked up in Luskan.
Hang on, what?
So
There was a contract?
yes, for the assassins.
So what,
The
he knew?
assassins to do what?
To kill us. Me.
Oh, I knew it! I knew that piece of filth couldn't be trusted.
Whoa, now. Before you go making up your mind about him, he plays both sides of the fence. Just because he didn't do anything doesn't mean that he's against us.
Come on, when everybody else says how bad he is, and you're so quick to defend him, that makes me wonder about you as well.
Wonder away.
Oh, I will. I'll
So,
encourage everybody here to do the same.
To be fair, he may not have heard the details of the contract. He may have just heard about the contract.
When he tried to
Playing
blackmail,
devil's advocate.
when he tried to blackmail me, he definitely knew more than what he told us originally. So that will be interesting when we see him again. But the most important thing of my encounter with that thing is she knew about our visit to the Oracle, she knew about our visit to Raven Rock, and she wanted to know why we were there. And before she vanished, she accused us of being in her way, and she disliked getting involved with things. Oh, she also knows the boat flies, but she's not sure how it...
How does she know these things if she's not scrying on a so-so?
Well, the boat belongs to a big red dragon. I know nothing about dragons, but that they would be up in each other's business does not seem out of the realm of possibility.
Discussed about seeing us in visions. Whether that's a clue or not, I don't know.
So you think that she was a mercenary?
She hired mercenaries. She was bigger than Thunderbird. I am.
And you're sure it wasn't an illusion?
Wasn't really time to check it out before. She was no longer drow. She was a dragon. I'm quite sure if she used lightning, it would have felt like lightning. I knew she wasn't what she said she was, but dragon was definitely low on my list.
We should go check on the guys. Brosic and the gang. If she disappeared.
Should we tell Bruno about this?
Yeah, Brunner knows.
What was the man...
Wait, he doesn't know about the dragon.
What was the man that met us at the gate? We should interrogate him as well. I forget his name.
Kopek?
Yes, him. She knew him by name.
I can't believe that King Bruno... I don't know much about him. I know he's famous, but I can't imagine that... I don't know. Just none of this makes sense.
Well, to make things more interesting, Lady Lael, I present you with this drow priestess that we captured. She appears to be the one who was after the primordial. I'm sure you have some questions for her.
She is currently unconscious, having been knocked unconscious, right? Or did you... No, you just subdued her without knocking her unconscious?
Correct. We were asking her questions and she was avoiding answering the questions.
Okay. So she's very tight-lipped, but she keeps her eyes on Lael. From the moment Lael entered the room, she has been keeping her eyes on the lady.
Seems I'm expected.
Does anybody mind if I kill her in the end? Can I have her?
Can you have her?
I mean, she's gonna die anyways. She can't stay alive. Does anyone got a problem with that?
Why are you so keen?
I have an idea. I want to send her somewhere unpleasant.
Given that I suspect that she was formerly of Illustrae, I can't think of anywhere more unpleasant than the Abyss for her. Not only is she an apostate, but she's failed lots.
How do you know that? You haven't even questioned her yet.
As I said, I learnt a lot from that blue dragon. I'll tell you all about it later, but
Okay.
I have some questions to ask others before I make sense of it myself, otherwise I'll just be babbling like an idiot. And I approach the priestess.
She keeps watching you, but doesn't say anything as you approach. You have now entered into the cell that is anti-magic, by the way.
Okay, so what does that mean? I can't use magic?
It means no magical effects are in effect while you're in this little room. You can't cast spells. All items are temporarily mundane.
Okay.
Owen's actually going to follow behind her with his bow drawn, just very cagey, sort of expecting anything to happen, just as backup.
I suspect everyone else is stood right outside the door, just looking in anyway, as well.
He's actually going to move over to Lael and say, "Don't mind if I do."
Aaron's never left that room. He'll be inside that room watching her like a hawk the whole time.
I'm going to place a finger under her chin and lift her head up. You don't know it yet, but all your secrets are already mine. The longer you speak, the longer you live. The moment that you prove useless is the moment your life is forfeit.
A moment goes by, nothing happens, and then filthy scum,
Saw that coming.
traitor. You do not have the right to speak to me.
You call me a traitor? Well, that's not what I hear. So how is your family faring out east from the Evermoors?
You have no right to speak to me, traitorous scum.
Hey, Leo, let me knock her unconscious and then crack her head open. We don't really need her to talk.
No, we don't need her to talk, really. If we could just get her unconscious and out of this room for a second. Or set Dawnbringer upon her.
She don't seem too chatty to begin with.
No, doesn't matter, I said. The more she talks, the longer she'd live. Clearly she has no interest in that anymore. Have fun in the abyss with Loth.
You fools haven't stopped anything. I'm not alone. Never was, never will be. Lolth is with me, and we will have that primordial.
You have to do better next time.
Loth never takes kindly to failures. And then I'd just like to knock her unconscious.
What are you doing to knock her unconscious?
Nice hilt of the sword, back of the head.
Okay.
Curb
With a
stomper.
loud conk, she's knocked unconscious.
Sweet. Can I drag her out this room? By a hair.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm just gonna double check and make sure she's unconscious before she does.
Okay, go ahead and make a medicine check. Or an
Can
investigation.
it not be okay.
Okay. It doesn't take you long, and it's certainly not difficult to be able to identify whether or not she's actually conscious or not. She is unconscious, though she is still breathing. You can feel a little bit of breath coming out of her, but yeah, she is unconscious, definitely. So Lael then drags this woman out of this anti-magic room.
Once I feel like we're out enough for my magical essence to come back, I'd just like to touch her with the tip of Dawnbringer.
Tip or hilt?
Hilt.
There we go. So, having used this weapon in this manner before, you do it again, and sure enough, moments later, you sense Dawnbringer has gained all the knowledge that this particular drow had contained.
I toss her unceremoniously back in the room. And so I can be all like, all yours.
Thank you. I'm gonna rub my hands and kick the door behind me closed and be like, y'all might want to move along. Nobody wants to see this.
Are you sure you want to send her to anywhere where Love can get information out of her?
She's not going to Loth.
Fair enough. The offer for Black Rays is there.
No, that's too good for her. She's gonna be assimilated.
At the end of last session, Brunner came down here too, so...
I don't think he's going to be too happy with the fact that Loic wants to kill the prisoner, and so he will actually put his foot in the door and stop you from closing it behind you. Now, these
Well,
may
we
be
can't-
uncivilized folk, but
You can't leave her alive. The longer she lives, the more of a liability she's going to be for you guys. What do you guys do with enemies? You kill them. We just needed information from her first. So we didn't this time. But you don't want this... You remember exactly what happened to Mithril Hall, don't you? You don't want that to happen again
Aaron's
to
gone.
Conflict Room. Oh, okay.
He's all frozen.
Okay, he looked very... He was like, oh man, I'm not phasing him.
I can be more persuasive, I know it.
He's got a great poker face, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I'm back. The last thing I had was Loic said she's going to be a liability. Bruna says...
For your benefit, she made a further impassioned plea about how terrible things will happen if she isn't allowed to murder her.
Okay, roll a persuasion check.
And can I give assistance?
In what way are you going to help her?
by actually saying what she said about how this isn't the end. They will get their hands on the primordial.
You gotta say
Can I give disassistance? Like Gamma would say, this is a dwarven kingdom of Brunner. His rule, it's his prisoner, it's his rules. We ought to respect that.
So even if you had cancelled it out, Loic's persuasion roll of a 22 is pretty persuasive. He turns to you, he's like, you make a good point. Drow running around my city is not something I can easily forgive. But I will not have you torturing and harming unnecessarily. She will receive an executioner's death, a clean death.
If that's going to be the case, then I'm going to be the one to do it.
No. What I was just gonna do was let her bleed out. It's gonna be easy. She's just gonna fall asleep. It'll be fine. It's very nice. It won't hurt.
What do you have planned with her?
I'm just sending her where I send all Lolth fights, which is to keep them away from Lolth, which is where they go when they die.
Where is it you send them?
Pandemonium. They get assimilated.
Into what?
Into, the Great Old One.
That is not where drow naturally go when they die.
So what, you feed
You're
them
right,
to
it's
some
an
sort of...
unnatural thing.
You just sort of feed them to gods?
Yes.
Which deity is it you worship, child?
I don't worship a deity.
But you serve one.
We've been over this. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
If you guys like, I will sit you down each individually, one at a time, and explain what's going on in my situation there, if you like. But right now, I'm more concerned about the matters at hand with the primordial and wrapping this up.
This is a simple question, child. Can you not simply state his name?
Bruna simply just looks at you and says, make it clean and make it quick. And you go about and you do whatever it is you have planned to do.
I'm just gonna sit her in my lap and take my knife and run it over her wrists and let her die. And in doing so, sacrifice her to Gonadaur.
So you're all stood now after a moment, after Loic finishes his little ritual, stood outside the cell, and Bruna just turns to you all. It's like, what now? What's the plan? Am I in danger?
What does Dawnbringer know, Leia?
You may see Gideon flinch a little bit at that, but there's no verbal response from him.
I want some time to question her. I also want to speak to our crew. I also want to speak to my mother. After I've spoken to all parties, I will then give you all the information that you require. But this isn't going to be quick. I get a sense there's a lot of information in here.
Bruna still looks at you all expectantly.
She's basically said the primordial isn't safe, Bruna. We need to double up the guard down in the forges. The hole that they came in needs to be filled immediately. And whatever other protection you see fit.
There is also another concern, my lord, says Gideon, and he looks pointedly at Lael.
What is it? Speak quickly, lest we all fall.
It concerns your advisor.
What about her? Should I summon her?
Please don't.
I think you may have a hard time finding her. She is not who you think she is.
Explain now.
She's a dragon. A blue one. She was not a member of Illustri, which I suspected originally. When she took me into her bathhouse, she transformed before my very eyes and said we were getting in the way of her plan. And then she set assassins upon me. You can go to her residence and see their bodies. And the blood.
Have you been drinking that special stuff from the Old Boar Inn?
Unless it's wine, probably not.
This is madness.
Gideon drops to one knee in front of the king and sort of lowers his head in a mark of respect. My lord, I swear upon the light of Dolala that what she says is true.
Roll a persuasion check.
Gideon does not make such proclamations lightly, my lord.
Have we ever lied to you, Bruno?
No, you haven't, Erin. Taymond, Loic, Lael. I've known you, and I trust you. Gamel, as a shield brother, as a trusted dwarf, I trust you. I do not know this Gideon. I do not know this person that you are, so do not take me wrong when I say I do not trust you. But you keep good company. I can trust that they vouch for you. I will have people investigate her rooms, discover the truth of what you speak. And if it so be that it's true, I guess I'm in your debt again.
You may wish to speak to the one named Kopek, my lord. The dragon referred to him by name. He may mean more to her than the ones we encountered in the bathhouses.
Really?
Are there others that she kept close company with?
Since the moment she arrived, she was loved by all. Everyone, and I mean everyone in the city loved her.
I can only speak for Kopek. It was the only name she uttered.
I'll speak to him, though I doubt he is of any concern.
With respect, my lord, you doubted your advisors of any concern.
Fair point. Let me investigate the truth of your claims about her and her assassins first. Then I will speak to Kopek, but not before.
As you command, sir.
Well, you are all guests in my home, and I thank you all. My city is at your disposal. I will ensure that there are more guards placed around here, and we will investigate the lower regions and the area that Loic alluded to see if there are any unknown methods in and out of the city. We will be protected.
I'm curious of what Leal said when she mentioned that we are interfering with her plans. From the sound of that, she was curious about our time investigating the giant situation, and that statement could allude to the fact that she's involved with the whole situation going on with the giants right now. And it makes me curious exactly why she was here. Is it just the primordial that she was after? Was she given inside information so it could be stolen? Or was she here for other reasons? What exactly did she know?
Since she arrived, she spent time talking to me and sharing with me her visions of new mining locations. When she wasn't doing that, and when we weren't discussing ways in which her and her family might be able to help, or that we might be able to help her family, she inquired a few times just simply about our relations with other areas, whether or not she could aid in our communication with the other dwarven citadels.
You mentioned the other mining locations. Were they all within Gauntle Grim, or were they far-reaching mining locations?
They were all within Gauntle Grim, but further south than we had ever mined. Last time we'd mined as deep as she suggested, things happened. Dangerous things were released. She managed to find some safe locations for us to mine and to work.
And she wanted better communications with the other dwarven strongholds? In what sense?
It seemed that she just wanted to be able to provide her services to all of the great dwarven lords in the land.
What if she just wants to control the mines?
What if she wants to scry? What kind of communication? Scrying to these other lands so she can keep tabs on them?
Could be. She wanted to know who would be the person to speak to if she were to travel to there to maybe set up trade negotiations, who leads the cities. I'll admit, probably shouldn't have trusted her as much as I did, but I gave her the names of the dwarven kings in Citadel Felbar and Citadel Adbar.
You're going to want to follow up on that, King Brunner. You're going to want to send off messages immediately and let them know what happened here.
That makes sense.
Of course, we're renowned for running errands, so...
If you happen to find yourselves in the areas, I would gratefully appreciate it if you happen to just stop in on Citadel Felbar and Adbar. Make sure that they are safe.
Since it was so easy to get past your defenses using magic, you guys might want to put people through an anti-magic test, strip them of all their magic, and then give it back. Have them walk into one of these cells.
That sounds good.
The resources this dragon revealed to you, are they significantly greater than that which Gonzalgrim has had before?
They're not greater. Gonzalgrim has never really had a lack of resources, but people get happy when there's a new mine opened up. It's that feeling of exploration and adventure that lesser men are unable to share. They enjoy it so much. The thrill of finding a new mine just lights everyone up. That's all it was.
My concern is that if she knows of the locations of your economy, could she put a stranglehold upon them by controlling them? If she still has agents left within the city, and if she attempts to do the same in the other dwarven kingdoms...
There are many things that you have made me rethink and ponder on. A lot of changes will probably have to go into the city. But we will be safe.
I pray that you are right, my lord.
We will not lose Gontalgrim again. So, let us return to the city. I will see to the rooms of Divkira. I will see whether or not this is true.
Having heard the drow's name again, Gideon quietly turns to Leo. This name, this Divkira, does this mean something in your drow tongue?
Dreamer.
Do you think this was perhaps chosen for a reason? I do not know the nature of dragons, but I have met many a vain demon.
I don't know. We are often given names to amplify traits.
Speaking of names, Aaron's going to walk over to Liao and hand her the signet ring of the dead drow that he took off her last session. You probably already know the family name, but this might be something useful to you.
Lael, you look at the signet ring, and it is familiar to you. It is the Zolarin family.
What do I know of this family?
I don't think they're in the top 8. No, they're not in the top 8. You know that they are close, though. Probably 10 or 11. Very close to reaching the top. They have always been stout worshippers of Lolth, but they've also been the family most willing to break away from tradition in order to serve Lolth. That family is all about the ends justify the means, and some barriers that drow would normally not cross, this family has always been willing to do so.
Okay. She shares that with the group.
As you're thinking about this family, and as you're thinking about Zolarin, Dawnbringer does speak into your mind that the thought that you had that she was traitorous or banished or whatever is completely not true.
Right. We'll let Dawnbringer know that we will follow up this line of questioning later. Things have settled.
Okay. So, what do you guys want to do?
Well, I've got a bunch of questions for Dawnbringer, if she did successfully absorb that priestess's mind.
And if Brunner is walking away, I would like to catch up with him and say, "McKing, may I have a word in private?"
Of course, my friend. Come. He throws his arm over your shoulder because you had spent more time in Gauntlgrim than any other member of the party prior, so...
All due respect, that's got to be a bit of a size discrepancy for an arm, a shoulder, between them two.
True. So, you and Bruner start heading off a little ahead of the rest of the group, and he turns you off a sideway. We'll get to the same place. What is it, my friend?
My king, I am concerned about the primordial, as all of us are. And my concern is heightened by the fact that if it were not for the chance presence of myself, Loic, and Aaron, the primordial could have been released within Gondolgrim. And I haven't shared my history with you, but I grew up in Neverwinter at the same time Megura was released. So it is keenly prescient on my mind that we need to protect the primordial at all costs. And it's for this reason that I would like to volunteer my services and pledge myself to you and to Megura and to remain here in Gondolgrim as Megura's caretaker to ensure that nothing happens to her again.
Don't get me wrong. I would gladly take you and your skills in a heartbeat. I think your fighting prowess has been proven time and time again. And what city guard could not be bolstered by one that helped defeat the demon lords? But what of your friends?
My friends are very capable, as you've seen, and I have no doubt that they will succeed in the face of this latest threat. I will remain here, and they are, as far as I can tell, welcome within Gondolgrim. So it does not have to be goodbye forever. As long as they remain friends to Bruner, they will be able to visit me, and I will be able to see them.
Well, as I said, you are welcome to aid us. If you are serious about joining the guard to watch over the forge and the primordial, then be at the guard barracks at dawn tomorrow.
Yeah, my word that I will be.
Now, let's go get a drink.
Let's.
And they disappear off, going back to the rest of the group. You saw that Taman stepped away with Bruner privately for a moment, but you're all making your way through the halls back up towards the surface level of Gauntlgrim. What are you doing? I know Loic wanted to question Dawnbringer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Taman left us, but while everyone's still around, maybe it would behoove us.
Erin asked Leia what she knew. Leia said she wanted to question Dawnbringer herself and the crew, and then share the information that she's learned.
Okay, well, then, whenever you're ready.
So you make your way back up to the surface. Taman rejoins you shortly thereafter. Yeah, it's late in the evening now at this point. You have room set aside for you should you need it, but you've also done all the work that you had planned within Gauntlgrim.
Aaron's slightly concerned about how the dragon is getting its information, because we're making an assumption that the scrying beer that we're seeing on the ship was the red dragon. What if it's not? What if it's Dakira?
That is a very real possibility.
So possible that one of the cultists does not in fact serve Clough.
That's a very good point as well. They may be loyal to another dragon.
So I think we have lots of questions, and there's one entity that currently has lots of answers. Asking more questions and posing more possibilities, I think, can wait until we get the answers out of the entity that currently has a plethora of answers. By which I mean Dawnbringer.
Let's have a conversation with Dawnbringer.
Suddenly turns and looks at Leal.
I told you, I will speak to Dawnbringer myself. I want to speak to the crew, and I want to speak to my mother. So you can tell me your questions, and I will ask Dawnbringer, and then I will go speak to the crew, and then I will go speak to my mother, and then I will inform you. Or we can just stand here.
Is there no way that we can all hear the answers at the same time? Because we might receive different perceptions of the answers.
Someone scrying on us, I don't want that happening.
Well, what are we waiting for? Just go talk to the crew.
Oh, well, here are all my questions. There you go. Tear it off a piece of paper, give it to her.
She takes it. Thanks.
All right. You're leaving them behind, or is everyone going with Lael back towards the ship?
If Lael's going to take some time to do that, Gamel just says, well, take your time. Let's meet up back at the ship tomorrow morning. I have some contacts here I still need to deal with. I presume I can go get whoever's in charge of the guilds here, the Armorers and Jewelers Guild, and I'm just going to go get drunk with them and have a great time.
Absolutely.
While I'm there, we'll see if we can use guild networks to maybe glean information or just put them on alert to be aware of things, maybe pass some information around the guild so that if I pop in later here or at another place, maybe I can get some information sent to me.
Okay. While Lael goes off towards the ship, you can head off to the guild. There is a fairly strong and solid guild here that's well connected. You've had dealings with these individuals previously, though through connected channels. You know of the guild masters themselves. So you go out and you have a great time.
I have at least one old friend in town. I gotta go get drunk too.
Always do. So while he's doing that, Lael, you head out of Gauntlgrim. You move about 45 minutes to an hour
With my
north,
ale.
with your ale,
With my ale.
north of the city towards the ship. Is anyone joining her?
Isn't
So
the ship
Loic-
the ship's supposed to be in the sky right now?
Yes, but the area that he dropped you off at, that's where she's heading to.
Aaron doesn't like the idea of going back on the ship until we're absolutely sure what side these cultists are on. I'm kind of feeling like, alright, what are they working for Quelf? Are they working for this blue dragon? Is she manipulating us? I'm really, really suspicious. I don't want us on that ship until we've got the answers that we need. Gauntlgrim is far more secure than being on that ship, that we don't trust those crew.
When Brassic was originally explaining his allegiance to Cloud, at least Brassic, I don't know about the others, but our captain, our pilot, for sure is loyal to Cloud.
Yeah, she's still got gaining information on us. So there is a leak somewhere on that ship.
No, you're right. The scrying could be from her, but we can't discern that. I mean, like, how would we go about discerning that?
We can ask Brassic if Quelf is actually scrying on this ship, or if he's aware that she's scrying on that.
Yes,
on that
but
ship.
if
Why do you think I'm going back to the ship to ask them questions? You stay here and worry. I'm going back onto the ship. There's no ifs or buts about it.
Okay. So you go back to the location that's just outside of the city, and you see the ship flying around in a small circle. It lowers itself down to the surface towards you. You can easily climb up the side. Brassic is there waiting for you. Greetings, the lady. Are we done in Gauntlgrim?
Almost. I come bearing gifts, and she points to the 3 large kegs of the golden ale that she bought.
Brassic sees the ale, looks straight over to the helm, to Laz. And though his face is covered in a mask, you can just feel this disappointed look passing between them. Laz kind of looks away, shies back, looking at the helm. Thank you. I'm sure we'll put this to good use.
Poor Laz.
I feel like we should celebrate, don't you?
What do we have to celebrate? Did you have some great victory in the city?
Definitely. I think we should toast to our victory. I think we should toast to our ongoing friendship with Klaus. There's been too much sadness, so I thought a nice gesture of our goodwill. I hope you know how deeply we appreciate you doing this for us, ferrying us around.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you've had such a wonderful success here, are you finished? Are you done? I know you took the relics off the ship. Have they been successfully delivered where you needed them to go? Basically, are you ready to come see Klaus? He is most eager to visit you, or to have you visit him.
Lyle turns to Loic. Loic's with her, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Go visit Klaus?
No, we got stuff to do. We already said we were going to hit up Shining White and Long Saddle and Waterdeep, and there are still additional burial mounds all along the south. So, Brassic, no, we're going to at least wait for the remainder of our companions to rejoin us first before setting off. Obviously, it's not going to be just me and Lael.
I'm misunderstanding. We are here until you are finished with whatever business you
No,
have
you're great.
done.
You're fantastic. You've been awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like you.
We actually
Thank you.
came to talk to you about
Well,
Klaus.
I'd be happy to talk with you. Let's go into one of the rooms. Have a bit of privacy.
Okay.
He gestures you inside, and he does encourage his men to carry 2 of the kegs off, but he has one of the kegs brought into the room that you guys are going in. Closes the door. Okay,
Sure,
so
nothing's scrying on us.
nothing appears to be scrying. How may I be of service to you all?
Klaus, as far as I understand, is a very powerful and magnificent dragon.
The most powerful and the most magnificent.
I look forward to meeting him one day. With that in mind, I imagine Klaus to have many rivals, many that envy him.
Klauth does not have rivals. People do envy him, but no one comes close to Klauth.
Would you know of a blue dragon that would envy Klaus?
There are
Female.
many blue dragons. All that have met Klauth envy his power.
It turns out that Aaron has a really bad poker face. I just saying. He needs the screen to freeze now.
Has it frozen again?
No.
No. But it would help. It would help you out in this case, I think.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to insight check.
You can inside check that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I'm going to switch my psychic focus so that I get advantage on that.
Okay.
I'm also going to insight check that, but I'm not going to do anything fancy. I got 11.
So, Lael, you believe him that he considers all blue dragons to be inferior to the red, so there's probably plenty of blue dragons that are envious. Loic, you can tell there might be a bit more to it.
I'm going to look at him like I know. And I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let him feel the weight that I know that he's lying. And it's probably going to be a good idea to come clean before other people who are less nice find out that he's lying or obfuscating the truth.
Make a persuasion check with your eyes.
Do I get advantage with my robe?
No.
No, okay.
Every painted eye suddenly shifts and turns to him. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check. Or intimidation, if that's what you're trying to do. Okay. There are plenty of dragons out there that do envy Klauth, though there is one who, above all, is just the most despicable blue dragon you could ever imagine. Her name is Imrith. She is a blue dragon, almost the same age as Klauth.
Was she big, Lael?
Humongous.
Humongous. That sounds like it might be her.
If you have dealings with her, then things are more serious than I thought, and I would encourage us to go visit Klauth immediately.
She tried to assassinate me in the city.
Right, so she made a play against you.
Obviously, because we are with Klauth.
Yes.
She said particularly that we are getting in her way, and she was asking lots of questions about what we were doing at the Oracle and Raven Rock. So she knows.
Of course she does. She has very limited abilities to be able to see stuff. Not quite as much as Klauth can.
Well, that is obvious from the questions she was asking, but she knew we were there.
So I've been seeing a scrying spell following us around, thinking it's Klauth. I haven't paid it any heed. Now we're wondering collectively whether or not that was actually Klauth that was watching us. It did have a draconic essence to it.
I personally do not know how we would be able to identify which is which. I do know that Klauth keeps his eye on us regularly.
Okay.
He watches us closely, and if we stray too far from the path, he might send a message, though thankfully we have not incurred his wrath to that degree. So I do not know if it was Imrith or Klauth that was scrying on us.
it's still nice to hear that it was a high probability it was Klaus. It's not impossible that it was, but you know.
Absolutely.
This despicable creature.
Yes.
What do you know of her meager and pathetic abilities?
I do not know what she is capable of. I know she is very adept at controlling individuals. But that's as much as I know. She has attempted to control the servants of Cloth before and failed, mind you. And if she has made an attempt against you, that brings her directly against Cloth in this instance. I would like the opportunity to report directly to him as soon as possible.
That I can understand. I think with our next city target, I think it would be fitting if you left. If she is scrying on this ship, then it will give you a chance to report back to Clef and we can meet up again after. Although I would very much like to meet your lord and master. I just don't think the time is yet.
But before you receive any orders and set them in stone, I want to make sure we get the group back together and let them know everything that we've found out from you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We will head back up into the sky. We'll keep watch of the area, particularly for any sort of large activity. And we'll be here waiting for you.
Thank you, Preston.
Enjoy the ale.
Will do. He walks you back to the side of the ship. You get back off. The ship immediately takes off and starts flying another circle, this time a little bit higher than normal. You can barely see it through the clouds. You head back in. In the meantime, Gamel, you have been visiting your guild members. There was individuals there that knew you, knew your family, that were interested in seeing the progress of your tools that you had been working on. And so you're able to hang out with them, get drunk. Is there any particular information you're seeking to gain from them?
Not particularly. I'd be interested to see if there's anything about the new mines, because I presume that the new mines that they were encouraged to open might open up access to the primordials, or the primordial. So I guess just generally letting people know, like, they should be cautious, maybe suspect of those mines, be cognizant of where things are coming from so that the primordial access is not compromised. And then more than that, just trying to set up, like, if you hear anything, send it out in the guild network so I can hear about it later as I'm traveling around and trying to sort through what all's going on. But nothing, no particular, like, singular piece of information. Though if over the course of the evening something interesting came up to pursue further, I would.
There's various bits of chatter that just go back and forth between you and your friends, and you feel confident that they will inform you or find a way of informing you through the various channels of any changes. They seem very interested in the idea that these new mines might actually be a method to approach the primordial. And so in particular, they're going to focus on that kind of thing. They do.
I do want to stress the importance of, if anyone gets access to it, that's a bad thing. I don't want to be giving them ideas like, ooh, maybe we can get the primordial. That's great.
No, they understand the weight of your suggestion that it's a bad thing that anyone unleashes that primordial. Some of them even remember the last time the primordial was let loose, and it was not a good thing. A large portion of the north was decimated. So they do mention to you, you hear rumor that Citadel Felbar has recently lost all contact through the guild. Normally there's various messages.
No one from the guild is, like, anyone who was in the guild is no longer there, or like current guild members have messages?
It's just the fact that normally you've got, as a big network, you tend to check in on one another regularly. Citadel Felbar hasn't been sending any of the guild dues out to the various other locations. They've not been making any contracts recently, and no one has heard anything back from any messengers that have been sent to Citadel Felbar. It's not too much of a uncommon thing for cities to go quiet for a while, but as you're talking about situations, they just pass along that it's been about a week or two since anyone's anywhere has heard anything from Citadel Felbar. They were probably going to wait a little while before anyone went in to check it out. But,
well, we all know with the ebb and flow of commerce, sometimes it's really busy and lots is happening, and sometimes there's a dearth there, but that is somewhat unusual. If I'm passing through, I'll be sure to check in and check that.
Anything else that you guys would like to do?
Yes.
What was that, Leon?
I would like Stormbringer time, and then
Stormbringer.
Mother time. So I'm going to ask Dawnbringer to tell me everything that the priestess knew about the dragon, to confirm if she knew her name was Imrith. Limith? It's an I. I'm Imrith.
It's an I.
Yeah.
She knew nothing of the dragon.
Okay.
She had no knowledge or dealings with the dragon at all.
What about did she have dealings with the drow named Kira?
No. All of her knowledge has no dealings with the Divkira.
Is she stationed? Is her family based in the Evermoors? And have they gone east?
Her family are east of the Evermoors. They have settled within the caves within the Nether Mountains, particularly those east of Sunderbar.
Okay. And who is the giant lord they are serving?
That she does not know.
Okay.
In terms of the giant activity, for some reason or another, her and her family were approached by a yak folk person. His name was Kigranin. He offered to give them shelter, support, farming, food, a place to house the entire family and allow them to spread their influence if they were willing to acquire the primordial from Gauntlgrim. They know that it was for a giant lord, but they do not know which.
And when they were successful in capturing the primordial, where was the handover going to take place?
It was going to take place in the city of Newfort.
And will Kigranin be...
Kigranin.
Would he be waiting there for them?
That was the information that was shared, that they were to return to Newfort to meet, with the primordial at an inn known as the Black Eye.
She said that this wasn't going to be the only time. Will there be other attempts, and when will they happen?
There was a plan made, assuming that the first attempt may not work. They had hoped, but they expected that interference might happen. They made a plan that if anything were to happen and she not return within a certain amount of time, they would send another high priest with more drow warriors to locate the flask and make another attempt.
And what was the amount of time until she didn't return?
She was due back a 10-day from now.
Okay. Lael picks up Lyric's piece of paper and looks for questions that she hasn't asked.
You actually covered most of them. So they were just like, I'm a yak folk, I want you to bring me the fire primordial of Gauntlgrim using this flask. And she was like, sure, no problem. That was it?
If they were
There was
settled
a
in the
lengthy
Evermoors,
deal going on.
they would have been desperate.
They were pretty desperate. The yak folk actually convinced her of the fact that they could, this is a powerful entity to trust, because this large yak folk had possessed the body of a dwarf, had walked right into the inn, grabbed the drow, took her out, and then unpossessed the drow in a very smooth motion.
Okay, so we get to know that they can possess people.
They can possess people. And in terms of what a yak folk looks like, it literally looks like a yak that walks on its hind legs. It is a large creature, and so the sight of watching it possess another creature is sometimes quite a harrowing thing.
Fun. Yeah, that was all. You covered all my questions.
So,
Mummy time. So
Roll
now,
me to. Okay.
puts one sword away, gets another one out. Mother, I'm in Gontalgrim. Drow have been here trying to steal the primordial. This Drow family is the Zolaran family. They have been thwarted this time, but in 10 days' time they will try again. However, the most disturbing thing that I've witnessed here, aside from that, was that when we went to meet King Bruina again, sat next to him was a blue-eyed Drow woman who said her name was Divkira. And she said she was a mystic of Villastrae, and she had been using her powers to help the dwarves find new mining ore, or whatever it is that dwarves are interested in. She knew our sacred words. However, I was suspicious of her from the moment she said that she fled her family and she came to this city for solace. The very fact that she did not go to the promenade was what gave her away. She said many things. She's mostly interested in our mission, but I think that she might try and lure other dwarven lords, from what I hear from King Bruina. This drow wasn't a drow. It appeared to be a blue dragon. A very, very large, bigger than anything I've seen in my life. Blue dragon. And we suspect her name is Imrith.
Thank you, Lyle. Is there anything you wish me to do with this information?
Are you settled in your new safe place?
We're getting there. It has only been a day since we last spoke. Where is this other family?
As far as I know, they are east of the Evermoors, in the Nether Mountains. I hear they were settled. They were helped by Yak folk to settle.
Then we will change our course and go elsewhere.
Is that where you were going?
We were headed north. We will no longer head north if that is the direction that they are.
Okay.
You will find us when the time comes. Thank you for sharing what you have. May the lady watch over you.
And your mother.
Right? You put the phone down on your mother and sheathe your sword. So, what's the plan, guys?
Go meet back up.
Yeah.
You guys gather this various bits of information in the night. Gamel, late into the evening, is quite intoxicated, and so are his friends.
I would be interested in doing post-constitution checks to see who's the last dwarf standing over the course of the evening, but we can roll that later.
Just roll me one right now. Roll a Constitution saving throw.
One.
You pass out.
Gal's been advancing too long. He has not been with his usual.
You pass out. A moment goes by. You wake up suddenly as water is dumped over your head, and the dwarf that you had been drinking with slaps you, puts another ale in front of you, and it's like, you need to try harder next time.
We will try harder throughout the night and come back with a bad hangover in the morning.
Yep.
Too much ginger ale.
That's right. It's too watered down. It's not strong enough. My next batch of ginger ale will be stronger.
So, are you going to try to... It is getting pretty late now at this point. You've travelled to the... you went to the ship and then back. You've had your conversations. It's very late in the night. You know that Gamel went out for drinks. Are you going to gather everyone up now, or are you going to just wait till the morning?
I'll wait till the morning.
Morning.
Okay. So you go to the...
Taman will not wait till the morning. He will gather everyone, minus Gamel. Friends, I wanted to discuss something with you. I just wanted to let you know that when we leave Gontalgrim, you'll be leaving without me. I will be sticking beside Brunner to ensure the safety of the primordial.
Seems a little bit familiar. You leave us in the middle of a quest, Tame. We didn't fare very well the last time you went here.
You're here now, so you did well enough.
I don't like it, but I'm not going to force you to do anything.
The primordial, if it were to get loose, obviously would be devastating in the region. So the fact that there was one dwarf that was guarding the area that would have allowed the primordial to be released, I feel is an oversight. That perhaps Brunner, blinded by the promise of riches, gave less attention than necessary to this very vital and important detail of security. It is my aim to earn his trust to recruit a regiment of dwarves dedicated to the protection of Primordial.
There will be an attack again in 10 days' time.
We'll be ready.
Before they attack, they intend on locating the flask, which we have. But if you don't mind, then I remember that we spent a lot of money putting a non-detection spell on the instant fortress. Perhaps we could put the flask in there so that they cannot scry for it.
The fortress is now yours. You can do with it what you will. I will not need it, as I will be here in the Dwarven stronghold.
Is this your life now, or are you going to return to the life that you knew before, after the whole giant fiasco stops, after Gauntlegrim is no longer under attack?
We shall see what the goddess has in store for me.
I'll send you a sending spell when we've done it.
Can't I just kill the drow? We can do that. They're in the Neverwinter Mountains, and then you can come travelling with us. It's fine.
Black Razor speaks up in your mind. I think that's a brilliant idea.
Drow lives matter.
The last time Megira was released, it was not at the hands of a drow, so just killing drow wantonly does not seem like the optimal solution. But I'll take it into consideration.
I feel nervous going forward without you. That's all. But I said before we approached Gultagrim that I would have your back, and if that means me going out to do this while you protect it here, then I'll see it done. But know that we'll miss you here.
You guys have been great friends. It is not an exaggeration to say you have been.
We are. Just because
Continue
you're leaving doesn't mean that that's gonna change. We'll be back for you. This is the end of nothing.
Fanfare starts playing in the background.
One day.
There will be a day where we are not friends, but it is not this day.
I am expected at the barracks at dawn. I will be reporting to my new assignment. So I wish you guys the best of luck. And I have no doubt that you will see an end to these turmoils with the giants.
May your vigil go well.
Gideon gives you a bit of a searching look, but he does sort of nod his head slowly. I hope this primordial is well kept while you stand over it.
Thank you, brother.
And then I'm gonna walk up to Taman and I'm just gonna give him a huge hug. I don't even care. And I'm gonna be like, you will be missed. Yep. If you're curious, I hear that Megara actually does speak the fire elemental language. If you wanted to have company one day.
I have no intention of ever speaking with that creature.
Suit yourself.
Megara could learn common, you never know. Okay, so through the course of the night, you guys share in revelries. You talk about the wonderful times with Taman. Remember that one time when you suddenly disappeared in the library? No, that's probably not a good idea. Remember that one time? You just have a great night with him. Thank him for all of the service that he's done, for the fighting, the saving of lives. And then morning comes along and Taman bids you all farewell as he reports to his duties in the barracks. That leaves 6 remaining. You gather together. Gamel, you kind of recuperated. You have heard that Taman has signed himself on to work for Bruna instead of continue to accompany you.
Having heard that, but having to get back to the ship, I'll just jot a note to him, wishing him well, and then telling my contacts in the guild to help him out and give him a discount should he need it. Since that's really what I got. That's what I can do.
Yeah. A note. The note mentions to Taman to go see Jared, because he's got the best. Even though you know of Jared through your connections, he didn't know of Jared previously. So you all gather.
It's more of a script. It's like, as a token of my affection, present this script at any guild member, and they'll get you a discount. I'm sorry it's not more, but it was a pleasure traveling with you.
You all gather together. Do you head out to the ship, or are you conversing beforehand in the city?
We're going to converse beforehand. Well, Leo's trying to get them to converse beforehand. So she lets them know about, as I'm sure you were all listening, so she shares the information about the dragon, Mammoth, about what Brassic said, how they're totally trustworthy because she really likes them, and they haven't shown anything else otherwise, and how they were going to meet a yak folk. I'm just going to say yak, just man-beast, in New Fort called Krigaran.
So you all basically know the information that was shared to Lael previously, and Loic. What you choose to do with that information is up to you.
So our next destination can be Shining White or Long Saddle, as previously stated. Brassic wants us to return to Clouth as soon as possible to talk about Imrith. And
whereabouts is Clouth located?
We don't know yet.
Somewhere in the mountains that we've been flying over.
Spine of the World.
Yeah, that place.
Yes, the area north by the Spine of the World is known as the Clouthen Vale, so it's probably up there.
Makes sense. And then there's New Fort, new addition to the potential journey.
But we only have 10 days to act on New Fort, because in 10 days they will know that the priestess failed. We will send another force.
Whereabouts is New Fort?
Loic knows of New Fort, and through the information gathered from Dawnbringer as well, Lael now knows. New Fort is a small little town. Yeah, it's to the east. You'll see it on the map. It's east of Sunderbar, along the Fork Road. Dawnbringer shares what little information the Drowned knows about the city of New Fort. It was founded by members of the Zentarium, and so it is a haven for scum and villainy. Like, if you want to do something illegal, you're probably going to get away with it in New Fort.
Do the cantinas have a rule? No Warforged?
We'll see. So, it's a small town. There's not really much to it, but there is an inn and a tree. That's about it.
It's just east of Silvery Moon, isn't it?
You've got Silvery Moon. Directly next to the Silvery Moon is the first part of the Nether Mountains. The road goes around it, hits Sunderbar, and then heads off. You're looking at maybe, well, it's 150 mile away from Silvery Moon, which is not much. 6 days
Seems like
travel.
Long Saddle and our other escapade is en route to that location.
In terms of where you guys wanted to go next, you had on your plans Long Saddle, Shining White. Eren has intent on eventually returning to Neverwinter, though that doesn't need to happen anytime soon.
Eren's intent for Neverwinter was down to us going there in case we had to change crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that doesn't seem the case at the moment, so he doesn't care about that. I'm thinking we can hit Long Saddle and Shining
Hadn't we
White
said last
and
week
New
that we
Fort.
were going to be swinging through Morgan's Mound, Gauntlegrim, and then back to Luskin for something?
We can't go back to Luskin. Not in this ship, we can't. DM, can we go to Long Saddle, Shining White, and then make it in time for New Fort within 10 days?
Yes, you can. It depends how long you spend in each particular area.
Why are we going to Long Saddle?
You're going to Long Saddle because
So Loic can steal a dagger?
Loic has
No.
some things to tend to.
It's not the dagger that he's looking for. He is
It's
looking
the
for
portal
a cubic gate.
Okay.
Yeah,
which he knows the Harples of Longsaddle have.
I seem to reply Casey saying he was going to have to steal it, like have a heist from the Harpers. Which, I don't know.
Oh, the Harpers?
I don't know if that's what we should be doing right now.
Oh, okay. I thought
so the Harples of Long
Yeah, it's the Harples. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought they were talking about the organization, the Harpers. I was like, I don't know if you're doing that, like taking out the entire Harpers against us.
Yeah, that would be a
Not
serious
stealing
conflict
the
of interest.
To be fair, the family of Harples is probably just as bad.
What about that mage? There was also
Which one?
The mage that we got late enough. The one I beat at chess.
Yes, so he's in Neverwinter.
Okay. That's why
Yeah.
we were going to Neverwinter, because that was about the Ring of Winter.
You also, Loic has reason to return to Luskan because the other item that he is looking for is the Dagger of Nisus, and he knows of a way to get to the Nine Hells in order to potentially acquire one, and that is through Yopesh and the Arcane Brotherhood.
But not all of us know of that yet.
No, not everyone, but some of you do.
Yeah.
With that, you all start making your way towards the ship.
Yeah.
Okay. You exit Gauntlgrim and you start heading towards where the ship was previously, and it flies down at a very quick rate. It barely even comes into a landing as you see Brassic leaning over the side. Thank goodness you're here. Come quick. Giants are attacking.
Yay!
You all scurry as quick as you can up onto the ship, I assume?
Do they land, or do they just throw over like cargo nets and we all just hold on and do like a sweet, like
Yeah.
fly off into the distance as we're all clutching underneath, like
We're doing
action
like a
movie style?
drive-by. Yeah.
That's great.
I'm
if
sure
one of us
Logan's
fails a
flying
strength
nearby,
check.
but everybody else climbing up.
So they
I wonder how that
land.
goes with Whale's entourage, like Randall hanging off the bottom, trying not to die. It's pretty good.
They bring the ship only about 10 foot off the ground, and then they lower the ladders so that you can easily get up if you want to do. If, for some reason, you want to stay on there as it takes off, you're more than welcome to stay at the bottom of this ladder. But he immediately takes off and starts flying east of Gauntlgrim once you're all there. He shares very briefly with you all, we've been making circles all night. We spotted a group of giants a little further to the east, didn't think much of them. They're much closer and they seem to be coming for an attack. You fly for only about 30-40 minutes where suddenly you see in the distance two huge frost giants, both making their way towards Gauntlgrim, but they've stopped approaching. They almost seem like they're swiping at something, like as if cats fighting at something that's flying through the air, trying to swipe at something that's above them. Moment goes by, you see this huge arc of lightning that suddenly pierces straight through one of the giants, felling it to the ground. The other giant, a little bit stunned and shaken up, starts trying to use a great club as a bat to hit this thing. A few moments later, that giant also falls.
You know, Owen, that's how I feel every time. Just when we're about to kill something, you do that.
As you guys continue to move towards the giants,
I like
Where they
how we're
were.
watching lightning kill giants, and Aaron's like, "Yep, those are more kills I'm missing." Just like when Aaron does it. I could be killing those things.
as you get closer to it, this speck in the distance starts getting larger and larger. You swear it's a bird, then it gets a bit bigger, and it's like, wait, that's not just a bird, that's a giant. Is that
That's a
really?
space
It
station.
looks like a large person riding a giant eagle, flying towards the ship. What do you guys do?
Aim the guns.
Shoot it.
Whoa,
You
whoa,
fire
whoa!
it?
He's
Whoa.
hang on. He's fighting our enemies. It makes him a likely ally.
Just shoot it.
Surely this vessel has some sort of like loudspeaker, right?
It has lower.
I'm a loudspeaker.
Well, that's just true in general. I mean, you don't have to.
No, minor illusion. Gamma G.
Oh, right. You're a wizard.
Yes.
That too. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I see what you did.
So what do you do as you
Gamma
approach?
winks at Loic.
I'm gonna be like, friend or foe?
Friend!
Says he's a friend.
Nah, don't trust him. Man the ballista.
Prove it!
Brassic signals over to you all, and he's getting closer. If he felled a giant, we need to act now. What are your orders?
Dude.
Let me... You want me to go talk to him?
Destroy.
No. If anyone shoots ballista, I'm gonna wall force that stuff, and nothing's gonna get through.
Can't wall force everything. Come on, everybody.
Are you going to fire at him, Aaron?
No, would have been silly.
I'm going to pinch Loic. Break concentration.
Speaking
Break
for me,
concentration.
Gamma will say, he'll pick up his musket with Owen and say, let's be ready here, just in case. So,
It doesn't take long before this individual who's flying on the back of a giant eagle gets within clearer view. Artir, would you like to give a brief description of what they see?
You see a brown-skinned barbarian. For visual reference, a Dothraki would be the closest approximation, with a shield on one arm and a giant greatsword strapped to his back. At this distance, that's probably all you'd be able to see.
Okay. It doesn't take long for him to get close enough to be able to communicate back and forth easily. All of the cultists are on edge. Anyone flying up to the ship is something to be concerned about.
Yo, nice bird.
I thank you, my friends. Are you the ones fighting the giants?
Sometimes. They're within our list of enemies.
This is excellent news. I have been searching for you.
Top marks on the accent. Straight away.
Where is this guy from?
Lo looks at Gamma and just shrugs.
I mean to go down. I need to take care of the giants that I felled. I need to desecrate their bodies to ensure no further giants come this far. We need to teach them a lesson.
Whelm is going to go, I'm on board with that. Desecrating giants? Yeah.
I don't think they're going to learn much from that. They're dead.
Insight check.
Go ahead and insight check him.
Aaron's still got a bow trained on this guy.
Loic, you believe it's fairly true. That's honest of him. That's what he wants to do. So Brassic follows the ship down. You get closer to them. You can see the carnage of these two giants that have been felled.
Are there any telescopes or looking glasses on board?
Aaron recently received a present from Leal, which was in fact a looking glass.
If you want to have a go with it, but it's not very useful over the ground.
Oh no, I'm just gonna stand. I'm just gonna stay on the boat and watch him desecrate the bodies and just observe.
I'll let him borrow the looking glass, but Aaron's going to be very keen to investigate the bodies for any clues about what their intentions were before he desecrates them. Try and enlist Loic's help in that.
Would you like me to perform the investigation, or would you like to perform it and me help you?
You're so much better at this. Aaron's not gonna.
So Loic pulls out his investigation tools and starts rooting through. And interestingly enough, looking at the bodies, looking at what they were doing, turns out they weren't headed to Gauntlgrim. You see directions to Morga's Mound.
It's elementary, my dear Aaron. They were headed towards Morga's Mound.
Little one, would you help me with these giants? I mean to make their deaths look as horrific as possible to prevent further incursions inland.
When he says little one, who's he speaking to?
Fucking a Randall?
He towers over each of you, so...
Everybody.
I talk to you, Mr. Investigator. You're getting very close to these giants. Do you have a knack for gruesome? The gruesomer the better.
Yeah, I can do a thing or two. I know some anatomy.
Excellent.
How about this? I tell you where to cut.
Very good. I have my dagger and I cut at your instruction.
You may want to use a bigger utensil than a dagger.
I feel my great
See,
sword
it is a barbarian dagger, though. I imagine it's the Crocodile Dundee. That's not a knife. This is a knife, and it's a huge dagger.
So you guys are closer now, and you will have seen that Artir has completely yellow eyes with black slits, very reptilian, and fangs when he opens his mouth wide enough so that you would see them. He has a circlet around his head. He has a single bear claw hanging, almost like an amulet. He has a couple rings he's wearing. Next to his greatsword, he has a quiver where he has a lot of javelins. And around his forearms, he has bear furs wrapped up with some sort of metallic webbing. He wears a cloak, and I think that would be all the relevant things. And a giant eagle, by the way. And while he's waiting for instruction for where to cut, he's also looking around, because I also have to find my javelin. I lost the javelin. I need to find it.
Try to sniff him.
Aaron, go ahead and make a perception or investigation check as you're sniffing him.
I get advantage on sniffs.
Yep. On perception checks based on sniffs.
14.
Okay. He isn't a normal human, but it smells natural, whatever it is. But it doesn't seem...
The fangs are making him go vampire. Think vampire. So Does it smell like a vampire?
It smells alive.
Okay.
Black Razor even confirms he is alive. There is a soul there. Everyone make a perception check for me. Aaron, you find this this javelin that is embedded deep into the ground. It's quite far into the ground, but the end of it is shaped like a lightning bolt. You pick it up and pull it out, and you can feel the magical energies within it. It seems to almost feel electrical and seems to buzz in your hand. This is definitely his javelin.
Okay, Aaron's going to hand it back to Artie. I believe this is yours. And he's going to kind of do this thing where if he grabs for it, Aaron's still going to hold on, and it's going to be a bit of a test of strength.
Okay.
Okay.
Contested athletics checks.
Thank you, my friend. You've found my javelin. I appreciate your diligence.
Okay, 17.
Yeah, you hold it for a second as he's pulling it. You confirm that in that moment you're just a little bit stronger than he is, but you let go. Before it gets suspicious, you let go. Artir, you have your javelin back.
You have my gratitude.
So here's what I'm thinking. We take the limbs, we sever them, and we take the head and we sever that, and then we rearrange it all.
I like the way you think.
I've got feet, hands. No.
Exactly. It would be hilarious.
All right, I will begin at once.
You work together and you desecrate the flesh of these two giants that are on the ground. Takes you the better part of a good 30-40 minutes to be able to do it.
Aaron's going to want to know the point of this. Is there a reason we are doing this?
We want to strike fear into the hearts of the giants. They walk around here like they own the place. This cannot be tolerated.
Okay. Is this usual in your culture to do this to other enemies?
He's effective. Where are my manners? Let me introduce myself. My name is Artir Argentifero. I hail from Zazespur in Tethir.
I'm not familiar with this place. It seems like a far realm.
It is south. It is along the Sword Coast.
How far south? Further south than Baldur's Gate?
It is indeed farther than Baldur's Gate.
And why do you find yourself here, my friend?
My master tells me that I am to find you to help you on your quest if I want to gain the object of my personal quest.
Is your master a dragon?
My master is no dragon.
Insight.
At least I don't think he is a dragon. Dragons, I understand, are very tricky.
25.
You believe that he believes that his master is not a dragon.
Who's the master you speak of?
My master is very mysterious. It is unlikely you will have heard of him.
No,
Try me.
maybe unluckily that I haven't heard of him, but I'm sure my friend Loic here may have.
Well, he
Sorry.
he goes by
The
the
wizard
name.
friend here.
My master goes by the name Esit Telma.
Roll a history check or a religion check.
24.
It's a strange name. You've not really heard that name before. There could be many masters, but this one doesn't seem to strike any sort of recollection in your mind.
If the name is strange, does it sound phonetically like any languages?
I would say not really. It's a random name of a random individual within the world. It's difficult to identify exactly where it was.
Maybe I don't know the language that it's attached to.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. No, he's right. I haven't heard of him.
What are you? You're strange looking for a human.
You are very perceptive. I am no human. My race are known as the Yuan-Ti.
Go ahead and make a history check if you want about the Yuan-Ti.
Aaron's
29.
faced you on T.
Aaron has faced Yuan-Ti. When you face Yuan-Ti, they typically take on a lot more physicalities of the Yuan-Ti.
Mm-hmm.
This is almost strange that he would be able to pass for almost perfectly human if it weren't for his eyes. Loic, you know of Yuan-Ti. You know that they kind of originate from the area south that kind of ties into what Arthur had mentioned. Similar to all races, it depends on the Yuan-Ti. They all have their own purpose, their own plans for whatever that could make them align with you or align with your enemies. You never know what kind of historical background the Yuan-Ti would generate in this sort of situation. But you also do know that, typically speaking, they have magical bloodlines that tend to give them a little bit of power. And that power is sometimes also associated with masters and that sort of thing. So it could be that his master is tied to his bloodline.
So does that mean that you're more susceptible to the cold winter in the north?
I believe I will be learning this as we quest together.
Can you see things differently? Do you have like a different spectrum?
I do not know how you see it, so I could not tell you if I see differently than you.
Can you see in the dark?
Indeed, I can see in the dark.
How'd you manage to tame a giant eagle?
This eagle is not tamed. He comes to me by the order that I serve.
Take a few steps away from it.
Which is...
My order is the Order of the Silver Chalice.
Can Aaron communicate with the bird if it's a beast and get a sense of if this person's a fair handler?
Yeah, you take a look at the bird, for one thing, and you can tell that this bird has not only been treated well, but also exercised very well. It's a very strong-looking bird. It's healthy. It's been treated great. This guy's been fair to it.
Okay. So you say your master has bid you here to help us.
Yes, this is what I said.
What do you know?
My master tells me that there is unrest with the giants, but he has added that it is not the giants who are behind this unrest. He tells me no more. My master is mysterious in that way.
Let me guess, dragons.
Your guess is as good as mine.
What unrest have you seen in the south? Your journey here, you must have seen things.
Giants. I killed some.
You do particularly remember crossing paths with a lot of hill giants that were kind of headed in that particular area. They were looking for all sorts of kinds of sources of food, and they wanted to take your bird and feed it to their queen, as it were, but you stopped them and you managed to get away.
We're going to look at everybody else as like, are we taking this guy with us? Like, give it. I'm not going to openly say it, but it's like a look. Are we taking this guy?
Well, we just lost Taman, and this guy looks capable.
And we seem to pick up any old stray that wanders into our group.
Look at him, he's like a golden god. That's far from being just like any run-of-the-mill stray. We also found him flying on a giant eagle. I think we could use him. I think we could definitely use him.
Is this like a conversation between like the core three, Lau, like me,
Yeah.
Lau, the rookies in earshot?
Oh, if they're in earshot, she doesn't care.
They're better than the rookies. He seems better than the rookies.
Although I will say,
Everyone
when Loic says, was it Loic or Lael that said we seem to pick up any old stray? You look over at Gamel. Gamel's going to look at Owen and then just shrug. Like, all right.
Can I have Gideon, Owen, and Gamel, and Arte please make perception checks while these three are talking amongst themselves?
To
about
be
whether or not-
perfectly honest, Gideon is going to be below decks. All this talk about desecrating giants, he's got no interest in seeing the bloodshed. He'll not have been here for any of this.
Yeah,
Okay, so if
likewise.
you're in the ship,
Yeah.
what's Owen doing?
Yeah, likewise, Owen's just kind of feeling a bit sick of everything since Galter Grim. He's just holding up.
Are you in the ship, out the ship? Are you with the party? What are you doing?
No, he'd be in the ship. Actually, below decks, yeah.
Okay. So, in which case, Gamel, your keen ears hear a loud "boof, boof," and then the rustle of trees and branches breaking off to the east. Boof.
Guys, we should go, like, right now.
Okay,
Why?
That's enough for me.
Why did you say that, my smaller friend?
just trust him. Time is of the essence when he says these things.
Yeah, let's wrap this thing up and go. Captain, can we take off, like, now? Everyone can fly but Aaron. Aaron, come on, let's go.
You hear a loud voice booming from the tree line not far from you, in Giant, shouting. So anyone that understands Giant, where are you? You're all just heading out?
There are more giants. We must kill them.
Yeah, why not?
You killed them so well from above. Let's do that again. Let's take off and then drop on them from above.
I will be killing them with my blade. And I start walking towards the voice that I heard.
Okay. As he draws his blade and starts stepping through, you can see heads kind of poke out of the tree line. There are 4 frost giant heads poke out. Where are you?
Take off.
They break out. So
Our
Gamel
new guy has a
and
giant eagle. We're
Aaron
fine.
are running
Let's take off.
to the ship. Lael, Loic, what are you guys doing?
Aaron's not running to the ship. He's shouting for them to take off because he's realizing the ship is vulnerable. Aaron's more effective on the ground.
I'm gonna go ahead and cast Fly on myself.
I would prefer just to be on the ship.
You still on the ship? Okay. So you guys are on the ship. The giants break out of the tree line, which is 65 foot away from you, Aaron, in a straight line. I would like everyone that wants to be involved to roll initiative.
How far away from the ship am I?
About 20 foot behind, but you ordered the ship to start taking off, so it did.
I'm presuming there's like a rope ladder still. Alright, so my question is, how long is the rope compared to how far the ship is off? Like, how many rounds would it be before the ship took off and I could jump to it?
So the ship is taking off slowly, raising approximately 10 foot per round. And there is a 50-foot rope on it. So you have 5 rounds before it's difficult to grab onto the rope. Okay?
Okay. My next question would be, what time of day is this right now?
This is quite early in the morning. You guys woke up and you headed out.
Okay, so this is, as far as I'm concerned, I still have my temporary hit points.
You rested? Oh no, they last for 24 hours, don't
They
they?
last for 24 hours. Yeah.
Then yes, you do still have your temporary hit points.
Can I just confirm what that is? Because I think it's 91. Just so I put it
You
in my
have
notes.
190 hit points right now.
Oh, right, okay.
And Lael got a 7 on her initiative.
Just go kill him yourself. You've got the HP for it. You're fine.
You say that, but it doesn't last very long against these hard hits.
Do I have initiative from Gideon and Owen, or are you going to stay on the ship?
If we'll have heard the disturbance, then yeah, Gideon will start heading towards the upper deck, but I'd imagine that would take him a bit of time.
It will do, but let's still roll your initiative just so that we can track your motion per turn.
Owen's not moving.
Okay, fair enough. Then, top of the round, we'll let Loic and Artir go before the Giants do, which... not bad initiative from the Giants. Which of you would like to go first, Artir or Loic?
I say Artir, give him a nice cinematic opening.
Okay.
I think I already had a nice cinematic opening. I will go into a rage.
Okay.
And I will take my movement to move that far, and I will hurl a javelin of lightning with the aim of landing the javelin here, because the javelin has a diameter.
Yep. Okay. So everyone between you and the target in 120 foot is hit by the lightning. You've got to make a DC 13 dex save. Okay, one of them succeeded, which is this one up here. The other two took it. So the 9 doesn't hit any of those creatures.
I was not aiming for any of the creatures. I was aiming for behind the creatures. There's a swath of lightning that goes through, and the lightning damage is 8, and the piercing damage is, if it would have hit someone, it would have done 6 damage.
Okay, so as your lightning bolt soars through the air, you see the bolt start connecting with the giants as it passes. Anything else from you, Artir?
That's it.
Okay, Loic.
Alright, I'm gonna launch 50 feet up into the air. What kind of weaponry are they carrying? Are they carrying any weaponry? Do they look like melee fighters? Do they look like the type to pick up rocks and chuck them?
They're all carrying great axes, but they do seem like frost giants are likely to pick up rocks as much as anything. You do notice that 2 of them, in particular the 2 front ones, are also carrying very large nets.
Okay, crap. Alright. I'm gonna cast Mists of Gonadauer. Cloak myself in this purplish, ethereal mist that ebbs and flows and distorts my figure.
Okay. Anything else from you?
That's all I can do.
Okay. Then one of the frost giants that started being attacked by the lightning will act. He'll move 40 feet right up to the barbarian, and he will swing his great axe. I have a nat 20 on the first hit. That'll hit. And it was with my black die. I love my black die.
Loved by DMs and feared by players everywhere.
Okay. 35 points of slashing damage, but you're raging, so it's cut down to 17? Yeah, cut down to 17 points of slashing damage from the first hit. Second hit is a 21 to hit. Will that hit you?
Yes.
Okay. You take another 20 points of slashing, reduced down to 10.
Got it.
The next one steps forward with his weapon to do a similar thing, though this time with advantage. I have a 28 to hit you.
Hits.
Second attack is a 25 to hit.
Hits.
Okay. First attack, you take 28 points of slashing damage, cut down to 14. Second attack is just 21 points of slashing damage, cut down to 10. And then the last frost giant will step past the rest and attempt to throw a huge boulder up at this strange violet misty fog. He will have disadvantage. So that's a 16 to hit you, Loic.
Shield! I have
Okay,
shield!
as a reaction, you cast shield. Okay. So he sees this boulder fly up through the air towards this fog, and then suddenly it connects, shatters as this mystical shield appears to protect you. Okay, Gideon. The ship has started to lift. It's about 10 foot off the ground at this point. You start running out of the ship, get up to the side of it, and would you choose to jump down?
Just like, is the ship going to be raising out of the area completely? Do I know what the plan is with that?
His orders were to get up and to get out of range of combat.
Okay. Do I have a rough idea as to how long that's going to take, based on what I've seen of the ship before?
If they go at full pelt, which they're not right now, they're going slowly because they're giving the other members time to get back up. It would take them about 10 turns, a minute or so. Yeah, a minute to get out of combat range.
Is there anybody manning the ballista?
They can be. They'd have to turn the ship around.
I'm
Do so.
interested in manning it myself if no one is.
Don't we have one
Okay.
on the front and one on the back?
There's a harpoon on the front, I think. Or is it
You have a
vice versa?
harpoon on the front and a ballista on the back, but neither of them can shoot to the side of the ship, which the ship is currently turned that way. So you'd have to lift off and turn, and then
Okay.
you'd be able to fire.
Oh, but as a blimp, that can happen while they're still taking off, right?
Exactly. It can.
Yeah, I'm going to call to Presume Brassick's around. Turn the ship, aim the ballista. And he's going to take charge of the gun if nobody else is on it. And I'm going to cast Magic Weapon on it just so I get a little bit of a buff.
Alright, I need to quickly open the Dungeon Master's Guide to grab that stuff out, but you
Sorry.
won't be able to get into a position to be able to fire this turn anyway, but you're
That's-
prepared
yeah.
to do so.
Yeah.
Okay. Gamel, what would you like to do?
I would like to get onto the boat.
Okay. So you're able to run back and climb onto the boat. That would be your entire movement to do so.
Do I still have time to attack, or would that be a double movement to get up there?
No, just one turn to get up there.
Great, we're gonna chuck my hammer at the lead guy who's 30 feet away.
Okay.
It's against giants. Let's do this one.
If only you had advantage on the shot.
If only.
The hammer flies through the air, connects, comes back. Are you going to fire again?
Sure am. Oh.
Unfortunately, the second time it flies wide completely. You are able to run and get back up onto the ship before the hammer gets back into your hand, though.
And if Owen hasn't heard it yet, I'm just gonna yell, "Owen, get up here! We got giants. We need your bow."
Okay. Then Lael, you're on the ship. It started to move up, but you're on the deck, correct? Yeah. So what would you choose to do?
Well, I was going to do the magic weapon thing that Gideon did, Paladins think alike, but instead... So, just to clarify, I am 50 foot away from this giant.
Yep.
Right, I'm going to cast Fairy Fire.
Okay. Those two creatures need to make dex saves. I have a 9 and a 5.
Yeah, they both fail.
Yeah, they both fail, and they both become illuminated with this magical energy. Any attacks on them have advantage. Alright. Aaron, what would you like to do?
Aaron's obviously grabbing Black Razor. He's going to hint its feeding time and see if Black Razor wants to give him any inspiration.
He will give you haste.
Reluctantly. This is a big force, so he's going to hybrid.
Okay.
Can we test out his new armor? His new stretching armor.
It stretches just enough. It's a bit tight, but it doesn't restrict your movement at all, but you are still wearing it. And it's not
Cool.
broken.
Cool. That's an action to do that. So I will then move. Whereabouts is Artif?
30 foot ahead of you is a frost giant that is now glowing from the fairy fire. Immediately to the north of him, 10 foot, is Artir, so he's also 30 foot away from you. But then immediately on the other side of Artir is another frost giant. This one
So-
not glowing.
Artif's flanked at the moment.
He is flanked by 2 frost giants, yes.
Okay, then Aaron is going to come across on the one that's lit up and is closest to him, flanking Artir, and he will use his hasted attack.
Okay, so you have advantage on the attack.
20 on first hit, 24.
That'll hit.
Has this creature taken damage yet?
Yes, he has.
19 damage. Should have hunters marked this guy, but I'll wait on that until the next turn.
Okay. The 4th frost giant now moves up, picks up a boulder, and will attempt to throw it at the ship. particularly at the man who suddenly grabbed the ballista. That will hit the ship. Doesn't quite hit Gideon though, but it hits the side of the ship. You feel the ship just suddenly shift and move as this boulder connects into the side. The ballista, it feels like it's shifted a little bit out of alignment as the entire back end just swings away from the ship for a moment. Brassic is not happy, but that's all this guy does. But now the ship is spinning. Artir, what would you like to do? You're now being surrounded by frost giants, one of which is glowing.
For the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to curse the glowing one.
Just to double check, are you capable of casting spells in a rage?
It is not a spell. It's the Hexblade's curse.
Oh yeah, the Hexblade's curse. Sorry. No, correct. So you cast a curse on him. What's the curse?
He's cursed for a minute. I have a bonus to damage rolls against him that are equal to my proficiency bonus. All of my rolls crit on a 19 or 20 against him.
Nice.
And if he dies, I regain hit points equal to my warlock level plus my charisma modifier.
So that's your bonus action. You focus and you put this curse on this giant. What would you like to do with your action?
So I'm going to take the attack action. And
Okay.
for the first attack, I'm going to use my menacing presence. And I'm going to do that against the other guy.
Okay.
So I'm going to try to demoralize him with a snarl and a flex. So I'm going to make an intimidation check opposed by his insight.
Okay.
So 30.
You get a 30. He gets a 1. He is petrified of you. This huge giant sees this barbarian. He's looking down at this barbarian, and he just seems to shrink.
So I'll just look back at him and do my scary look, and then I'll go back to the glowing one, and I'll use my great weapon mastery and take a -5 on the attack.
Go ahead and attack. Okay, so that does hit.
So it's a 31 damage, and I will add a divine smite on top of it.
As you connect with the weapon, it just shatters against his meager armor, and you see him recoil in pain. He's looking pretty beat up now. Anything else from you, Artir?
I will end my turn there.
Okay. Loic.
I'm just gonna chuck a fireball at this tree line here. Yeah, so that it stops just short of our tier, but it catches these three guys. But it's a 31 if they fail to save, and half that if they succeed.
I got a 15, a 16, and a 15.
None of that passes.
Okay, they all fail. 31 points of fire damage. You see that this frost giant that was glowing, that Aaron was just about to carve into properly, falls as the flame erupts over him.
I'll be like, I'm sorry!
Aaron can never get a kill to save his life.
Yeah, it's going to be one of these games.
And then I would like to point out that it ignites flammable objects in the area that aren't being worn or carried.
So the trees are now on fire. Yep. Artir, the guy that failed against the menacing presence, what does that actually mean for him?
So he has disadvantage on all attacks, as long as he can see me.
In which case, he steps to the side of you ever so slightly, dropping his great axe in the ground, and it embeds itself pretty deep into the ground. He pulls out a net to throw it in front of him on this large creature, being Aaron. He has disadvantage. Yeah, it's going to fail. He got 15. But that's all he does on his turn. The other glowing frost giant will move right up to you, Aaron, and attack you. First attack is a 19 to hit.
Misses.
Second attack is a 25 to hit.
Hits one with cast shield.
Okay, so he casts shield, and the attack just misses. That's all he gets to do. Gideon. By this point, by your turn, the ship, having been impacted, corrects itself, and you are able to get into a position to fire the ballista at one of the frost giants. Which of the giants would you like to attack?
Okay, I get a bit of a buff shooting at the lit up one, is that right?
You have an advantage, plus it's a magical weapon now, so you got a +1 to it. So if you're going to attack that one,
yep,
you need to roll me a d20 and add 7 to it. 17. That will hit. The huge bolt connects with the creature. Go ahead and roll me 3d10, please. As the bolt embeds itself, he takes 19 points of piercing damage.
With magic
Oh no,
weapon, so that's
that's
plus
20.
one,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Anything else from you, Gideon? Because that's your action to fire it.
Yeah, he's just going to call to the nearest crewman, reload!
And they immediately start working to reload it for you. Right, then Gamel, you're on the ship
Gamel and
now.
Realm are excited. I'm just gonna throw the hammer over and over and over again. So throw the one just below Aaron.
I feel like Gamel's going to end up inventing a hammer shooting crossbow at this rate.
That's about where we're at. I'll take my
Right,
extra
launch it.
attack. Oh,
Both attacks do hit
great.
for
Well,
38 points of bludgeoning damage. He's looking very weak as he just gets hit twice in the head by the hammer.
And then I'll do action surge to just throw him again.
Okay.
Do both of those hit or just one?
Both of them hit. And Aaron gets even more annoyed as Whelm connects and takes off the head of the giant that just came up to attack him.
Gamel's gonna shout, "You're welcome!"
Okay, Lael, what would you like to do? Two of the giants have fallen, both of which have been the ones that you cast Fairy Fire on. And the ship has been raised by another 10 foot or so.
Okay. So Artir is 60 foot away.
Yes, he is.
I am going to cast Shield of Faith on him. So his AC increases by 2.
Artir's AC is now 22, I believe.
That is correct.
Okay. Anything else from you, Lael?
No, that's it.
Then, Aaron, you have a frost giant 10 foot to the north of you and another 15 foot to the east of you.
Either of them been touched yet?
Yes, the one to the east has been hit previously.
How's he looking?
He's taken a little bit of damage, but not much.
Artir sees the big giant morphed Aaron. Says, "You are a mighty creature. You take that one. I will take this one."
I mean, Aaron's like, this guy, and he can hit. He's feeling a bit insecure. He's going to go over to, the other one. Going to go over to the one that's taking some damage. Yeah, I'm going all out.
You run in, swing. You've got 5 attacks. Go ahead and roll them.
It's because he's got a bigger sword.
He has not got a bigger sword. I've got a great sword as well. They're about the same size, I think.
Let's not turn this into a measuring competition.
And mine sparkles like moonlight.
You have a very impressive sword, my friend.
Right. First attack.
Go ahead and
is
make your
6,
5 attacks.
28.
Yeah. So that'll hit.
Sorry. I wanted to cast Hunter's Mark. I said I'd cast Hunter's Mark on my next target before I did it. So
Fair enough.
You do have advantage, though, don't you?
no.
Because of your Black Razor and you have temporary hit points.
Yeah, but we discussed it only lasts as long as if I put a Black Razor away and I've still got those hit points and draw it again, I don't have that. And we said that, so that is 25.
Okay. It's attack number 1. Go ahead and roll number 2.
Natural 20.
That'll do it.
Tip the camera down.
I've just removed the dice, but it's
Pixar didn't happen.
I'm teasing.
I have been. That's my first natural 20. Yeah, after all. Right. So okay. 44.
Okay.
From there.
And another one.
25. 28.
as you have come in, swung twice with your mighty weapon, jump up, bring it down for a third attack, he is looking very weak now at this point. Almost like you could flick him and kill him.
Okay, so action surge.
Yep.
I was about to finish him off with a bite, but I got a free Black Razor. Yeah, so attack Black Razor again. 17.
Okay, it hits, and don't bother rolling the dice. It's got 2 hit points. You fell this creature. You cut cleanly through his neck, and the energy surges through, but you don't get any benefit because he had less hit points than the Dracloth.
Yeah. Okay. Have I got enough movement? Bearing in mind,
Yes,
I had 18 movement to get to the other one.
Yep.
I'm going to pass Altair on the way and say, done! And move past the hit the next one.
This one has been hit as well, so go ahead and make your attack.
Natural 20.
That'll do it. Do it one more time and I won't trust you anymore.
that was my first roll. I've got advantage. I could roll it twice. 30 points of damage on that.
Alright, so as Aaron gets a little tired from all of those attacks, it is Artir's turn to step in.
So I will, again, take the attack action, and for my first attack, use my menacing presence again, because it only lasts until the end of that guy's turn, so presently he is not frightened of me.
Good.
But I will attempt to re-frighten him with a 21.
He got a 19 this time, so you still beat him.
So I snarl more, and there's drool coming out of my mouth as I now take my actual swing. I will attack recklessly and use my Great Weapon Mastery to take a -5 to hit. Advantage.
That'll
23.
definitely hit.
And I will also put another first level Divine Smite on him. 29 plus 5, so 34 damage.
Cleave into him. Good and proper. He's bleeding, he looks frightened, he's in a lot of pain. Loic. How's Loic doing?
Yeah. So he's bloodied?
Yes, he would be considered bloodied.
The fellas down there look like they're just fine, so I think I'm going to float onto my back and just look really cool with my Mist of Gonadaur as I just float around, waiting for this to end. I don't want to steal a kill.
Alright.
It's too late, you've already done that.
I don't want to do it again.
He's going to just shift a little bit and attack this creature that has frightened him. Almost as if, get away, please. And he has disadvantage. I crit on that one. I really hope I can crit again.
Well, you don't have to. I attack recklessly, so he has advantage, and the disadvantage cancel out. So crits would stay.
Sweet. So he crit.
I don't trust you. We need to see that.
I can move my cam.
I'm joking. It's fine.
Alright, so that's 6d12. 45 points of slashing damage cut down to 22 points of slashing because you're raging.
Got it.
And then he attacks a second time, also advantage, disadvantage cancelling out. And he rolls a 13 to hit, so that's going to fail. And he screams at your face, and half of it seems like you can tell it's half a scream of anger as well as fear in his eyes. Gideon, you have the opportunity to come in for another shot if you wish.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, unfortunately it doesn't quite hit.
Reload.
And they immediately get to work on reloading it. Gamel, the ship has now raised another 10 foot from before, so in terms of your distance from the creature, you're now 60 foot away from it.
60 foot is my max range, so provided that still matches, I'll still go with the hammer.
Fortunately, you don't have advantage on this attack, so you miss that first attack.
Go again. That's it. And that'll be all.
Lael.
I'm just maintaining concentration on that spell.
Okay. Then Aaron,
Yay!
back up to you.
I'm going to claw his face.
Okay. You rake at him with your claws.
I'm going to use my bonus action to harness mark on him, but I'm going to claw him in the face. 18.
That'll hit.
29.
Okay. You rake at him. It cuts deeply into him, but he's still standing. Still freaking out.
Okay, I'll come down. So he's slashed across, then grab the hilt back round, and I come back down with a mighty blow with Black Razor. 27. I got
It'll
it,
hit.
haven't I? Yes, hit. 21.
And he falls to the ground, weak, limping, blood dripping over his eyes, barely able to hold it together, but he's still alive.
Do we want this one? I'm shouting to the group, like, do we want to keep him alive or do we want him dead?
Nah, no use. Well, unless he knows where what's-his-face's dad is. If you guys are still interested in pursuing that.
Prudence is the better part of valor. Shouts Daniel.
We're after fire giants, not frost giants.
I thought we were after the guy's dad who killed his son in Eye of the All.
Okay, this is taking too long. Aaron's already like moved around. He's moved around the back and he's holding this guy in play. I'm going to grapple him as my hasted action.
Okay, go ahead and roll athletics.
26.
Unfortunately, he's able to break the grapple and keep you from grappling him. Artir, you're up.
So, seeing Aaron try to grab the giant. What are you doing? I like your savagery, but what are you doing?
We need to capture him, so question him.
We must kill them!
Is that a question? Or is he looking at me in a way that he's like confused, or is he just going, "No, we must kill them," and he's going to do it?
It is asked with an inflection of a question, or said with a questioning section.
Aaron's going to be like, "We could kill them more effectively if we know where they are and what they're planning."
And that's about as much as you can get in a conversation in 6 seconds. Artir, what would you choose to do?
I am going to try and knock him out.
Okay, so make an attack with advantage because you're now flanking. Okay.
So, 17.
As long as the damage is more than 5, which I'm pretty sure it will be, you knock him out and he falls to the ground unconscious.
No kill him! He is unconscious.
That'll work. We just need to question him.
So I'm looking at the detect thought spell, Aaron,
Yep.
and nothing about it says that they have to be conscious. It says thoughts, which
Yeah.
means that it's possible that they could receive information from the exterior and then dream about it, and I would read it.
Exactly.
So I'm going to give that a shot. I'm going to land in my awesome cloak of black fog and mist trailing behind me, walk up to him, and cast Detect Thoughts. And I'm just going to keep hounding him, where is home, where is your home, where are your people from, until I get something.
You see the image of an island in the sea, shaped almost like a donut, and you hear the familiar words of home, which is Svartborg.
Do the stars, is there a sky with stars that allow me to see which sea it's in?
If you kind of lead his direction into considering how would you get home, then you might be able to convince him to dream in that fashion to give you directions on how to get there.
Yeah, anything. What's the place in which you hop on a boat and get across, and other landmarks along the way or anything?
Because you can now see it, pull you back to the map of the north, you get a sense that you would catch a boat somewhere along the Sword Coast and head north around the mountains to the Sea of Moving Ice, where Svartborg is kept.
And can I make a history check real quick to try to remember what the name of the frost giant leader father was?
Make a history check. You do know that the current leader of the frost giants is Jarl Storvald. You don't know too much about him in particular. You do know that as frost giants, they tend to keep to the north, but there's not really anything useful that you could learn. You know the history of what the frost giants have been like over the eons.
I'm trying to confirm that the dude's dad is here in Svardborg, the guy that we promised to avenge.
Absolutely not.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll let everyone know he's useless. Their lair, though, is up north and east, and I know where it is now. So, Artier, you can kill him if you like.
Artier would look up across the body at the giant Aaron. Did you want him?
Aaron's going to think to Razor, like, you hungry still?
Of course I'm hungry. Feed me, Aaron, feed me.
Aaron's going to look to Gideon. How's he on looking upon this thing?
Is he asking, or are you just looking at him?
No, it's not asking, but he's trying to get an impression of how Gideon's on looking about this, because he's been given to the impression that, Gideon's seen us slaughter lots and lots of creatures of late, and he's conscious of it.
Yeah, if Gideon's expression could probably be summed up, it'd be something between discouraged and resigned. Like he expects you to stick this guy through, but he's not going to like it, and these protests will fall on deaf ears.
Yeah, Aaron's in two minds. He's going to walk away.
Do we know if he's naturally evil or?
Yeah, this is the thing. Aaron kills these things because he's more inclined to use Black Razor on evil creatures, and he's not necessarily thinking these are intelligent creatures. They're not necessarily evil. They might have a different outlook and a different politic, but it's not necessarily evil. And he only uses it because in defense. He's not going to do it outright. So he's walking away. He's going to look at Gideon when he does it in an indication of I agree with you, but it's fine.
So Artier. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say you do see a little bit of surprise almost for Gideon's expression, but there's a warmth in it. He's actually pleasantly surprised by this. You can tell.
Artier will see Aaron walking away. Good thinking. We will leave him alive to tell the story of our savagery. Surely this will strike fear into their hearts. It's very clever. It's very clever.
By which point, Loic is still using detect thoughts. You've noticed he seems to be dreaming about the ocean and the sea, and that bit of ice looks like fish. That bit of ice looks like a ship. And
as I'm standing over him, I'm going to nod and admit, yeah, the more I detect his thoughts, the more he grows on me. He's got a personality.
Dire wolf back home.
Very well, we leave him alive. I mutilate the other bodies.
Just gonna wake up with his friends coming like his friend's body.
Is the mutilation necessary?
Of course. Do you want them to come back? We need him to be terrified when he wakes. We will place the body parts all around him.
Given that he was half terrified during the fight, I think he's terrified enough. He'll wake up, his friends are dead, and we've left him alone and he won't know why. I advise you to stop.
And the boat's taking off. Literally, the ship is leaving. Let's go.
That's okay, I catch up. Zeppa, come here.
Aaron's going to be like, to be honest, the desecration of these guys, their friends, didn't discourage them much.
They did not come across them yet. Good thinking. We need to spread the mutilation across a larger area. Maybe we could drop the body parts from your ship. You are very clever, my friend. We will do this. We will go far together, I feel.
Gideon's just going to gather his halberd up and march back below decks. He's not having anything to do with this.
Brassic leans over the ship and just calls out, "Are we done here? Should we go? Please?"
Artier, can you carry 2 people on that bird? Or is that a one-person bird?
It's essentially, it's the same strength as a horse. So the same rules would apply, essentially.
Would you have any qualms against me catching a lift with you if you are headed our way anyways?
He's going to look at your tentacle as you put your arm like that.
Yeah.
Say, you are very curious, yes. Hop on Zeppa. I will just take care of these bodies real quick.
Woo! Good birdie. Good birdie.
The bird seems patient and allows you to ride it, but it won't take off with just you on it. So, Brassic encourages all of you to get onto the ship and you start taking off. The question is, as he poses to you all, where to? Are you done in Gauntlgrim?
Yeah.
That way!
And which way is that way?
Once again, we have... Oh, we're doing long saddle? Is Shining White out of the equation now that we have enough artifacts?
Shining White's past Long Saddle from... I'm guessing, I haven't got the map in front of me, but I thought Shining Light was...
I mean, Gamma would say if we have enough, why not just head back to that of the Allfather? Everything else just seems like kind of personal errands at this point.
I think it was Taman in the first place who wanted to get as many as possible for the sake of availability to the Lords of the Giants. So yeah, now he's no longer here.
We needed one. We have 3.
So the motivation was that we want to find the fire giants, and there's no guarantee that one relic will give us the location of the fire giant. So getting more relics increases our chances of finding the fire giants.
I knew that. I specifically didn't say that.
I was kind of under the impression that we thought the fire ring that is under possession of Owen at the moment is the one that might indicate the fire giants, because everything seems to be related. The actual relic seems to be related to the tribes, so...
Yeah, it's A1, but there could be another fire instrument. Either way, I think most of us are agreed that Shining White no longer needs to be a thing.
Yeah, okay, so the Long Saddle is... whereabouts are we? Are we between Gauntlgrim and Long Saddle at the moment? Or...
So you guys are just outside of Gauntlgrim, not far. You're kind of in between Gauntlgrim and Morga's Mound right now, where the battle took place. Long Saddle, from your current position, is 85 miles to the east-southeast direction.
So about half a day, then?
Yeah, about half a day. Especially flying at full speed, you guys could get there in a couple hours. Alternatively, the Eye of the Allfather is 212 miles from your current location, 200 miles from Long Saddle.
Let's do Long Saddle. Let me get this out of the way, and then we won't have to bother with it for a long time.
Look, what is it you need to do in Long Saddle again?
I'm trying to acquire an item. It's called the Cubic Gate. They have it.
And is this going to be like you go in and purchase one, or is this going to be like a whole deal? Like, what are we getting into?
I have done what I can to attempt to gather as much information as I can about how to proceed. No one's been able to tell me anything. And so I don't know what we're walking into. I know that they are renowned for their transmutation magic, and they are in good standing with Silvery Moon.
These are good people, the Harples.
So their reputation implies.
So this may be trade. If we've got something to offer them, then maybe we can get this item that you're looking for, and maybe more. Maybe they have information that we can use.
Yeah, I'm gonna come out of the gate talking about how important I am to the success of our mission. So if you guys can kind of help me with that and say, no, we need him. He dies a lot, and we need him. So if you just let us borrow this, we'll bring it back eventually.
If you're talking about yourself, Loic, are you going to be talking about yourself or an alternative version?
I'm gonna try to delicately test them with my plan and gauge their reactions all along the way. I wanted you guys to talk me up like you need me. I'm not gonna talk myself up because that's an asshole move. I'd rather not come off like that in front of these guys who are reputably upstanding or some such.
Oh, so not your usual tactic then?
I change. I adapt.
Gamel puts up his hand as though to give Lael a high five.
Looks at your hand.
Just gonna stand there for a while, and he's gonna see if Randall will accommodate him with
I'm gonna give him a high five.
Yeah,
like
look, bam.
Bam! It was painful to watch you. Okay, so long saddle? See if we can get this
Long
over.
saddle, and then back to the Eye of Ill Fuzz. Is that what we're saying?
Sounds good.
Okay. So you fly at full speed and you get the ship moving at a very quick pace. Haste seems to be preference at this point. There's something in the air that seems to encourage Bressic to get the ship to move faster and faster. You manage to get to Long Saddle within 3 hours. So not much, and so judging by the time, it's actually about noon by the time you guys get there. You pull into the city, and what you see is a small little village, a quaint little town. A couple farmsteads, a couple big inns, and well, not inns, but barns, and a very simple little town. You don't see anything that should appear to be big and ornate and shout itself out as being the Harples of Long Saddle. Lowick, however, knows that the Harples keep their location hidden from anyone's view. And so you settle the ship down about half an hour's walk out of town so as not to spook people, and you walk into the city, or the little village. You see plenty of people moving around, chattering away, having a good time, almost as if they haven't been affected at all by the giant attacks and the giant incursion.
They've got to have like a little hospitality area, right?
Mm-hmm. They do.
It's not an
So you know exactly from the way that the Harples have dealt with Silvery Moon, you know how to gain their attention, and that would be to approach the city from a certain side and wait by a certain gate. And sure enough, a dark blue-robed individual steps forward. Hello, how can we be of service to you?
Well, I was hoping that I could talk to somebody about an item that you guys possess.
Do you have anything on you to prove that you're not a danger? How can I trust you?
We're the heroes of the Underdark. I am Aaron Ioka. This is Lady Loudly Astray.
Names work. I recognize names.
And then I'll look at Loic, going, do you, like in an indication, do you want me to use your name, or do you want me to just ignore?
Gamel will step forward and say, if you recognize the names, then you recognize that we are actually very dangerous, but not dangerous to you. So...
Yeah, it's like I was looking at my Brigadier's coin and my Themberchad coin, and I was like,
It's like, fair enough. We've heard stories about you. Come with me. Follow me. And he takes you around the side of a barn, and as you approach, you see that there appears to be a hole in the air in front of you. Everything is just straight farmsteads, as far as the eye can see, as far as you're concerned. However, there is a hole in the air that appears to open up into a long corridor that shouldn't be there. And he just steps right in, invites you all to follow him. As you do, you cross over this threshold where this magical energy had been just hiding everything. You step through this little doorway, and this enormous, huge structure lies before you. You have huge mansions and tall buildings, all connected and intertwined with tunnels and walkways. It's a very busy and very magically industrious place that's just completely hidden from view. Well, heroes of the Underdark, what is it that we can do for you?
who are you? A Harple?
Yes, I am a Harple. My name is Bihalam.
And you are the son of...
I'm one of the younger members of the family, yes, but still quite an adept spellcaster, if I do say so myself.
I believe you. I'm hoping to speak to somebody with some high-level authorization is the thing. You can probably help me, though. How much do you know about what's going on in the world right now between the giants and forces of catastrophe?
Not too sure of what caused it, though it's caused us a lot of trouble. It has been hard work keeping Longsaddle out of people's awareness and out of danger, but we do our best.
You happen to be smack dab in the middle of all of the activity.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
every day there's another group of giants walking past us, and every day we have to direct them away from the town.
So, because of our success in the Underdark, we have been tasked once again with seeing to this issue, which we are doing. We're very close to making a breakthrough, in fact. Before going on this mission, I was working on something myself. During the adventure in the Underdark, I was torn from this mortal plane twice. And I came back in various means, but it has come to my attention that if I seek to truly help the world, I gotta quit dying. Makes sense, right?
So
you follow.
It's immortality you're trying to get. That makes sense.
Temporary immortality. It's a system.
Roic is very important to us. We've got to make sure he stops dying.
Oh, Gamel, stop.
No,
Stop. We don't want them to be
it's just such a risk
taken
if he
advantage
dies.
of like this. This is just...
No, I understand, but they need to know the importance of the situation. Your humility is so defeating at times. You need to let them know how important you are.
Indeed. The second time we lost our dear friend here, we had no guidance. We had no path. It was pure luck that we managed to slay the demons and close the tear in the interior plane.
The gods brought him back, but their favor can be fickle, and so we need to make sure that we aren't so reliant upon them in the future.
Well, we are powerful, but immortality is little.
I understand. Trust me, I'm my own wizard. I create my own systems, just like you guys do, or I hear you guys do. That's why I was hoping you guys would be feeling a little bit creative when I dropped by.
What do you have in mind?
I need two things. One, I need a anchor to this plane, which I've been working on, and I have. It's not a phylactery. Just so you know. It's a positive energy-based utensil. And yes. And then the other thing that I need is something that can plane shift. Now, I've located something that can do this.
Really? And where would it be?
It happens to presently be protected by your family.
Oh.
But if you guys were willing to help me, then I'd give you input on how the system works in order to be able to control it. Because I could attempt this without you guys through some other means, and it could end up being a lot more dangerous for everybody. If I involve you, maybe you'll be able to track the item, help me contain it, do everything we need to do, and then when its use is finished, I will return it.
Make a persuasion check.
Can I get help from my bros from...
You have advantage because of their impressive talking you up. Their hype manning. He pauses for a moment. If you've come here looking for a method, an item that plane shifts, I know exactly which item you're looking for. I personally do not have the authority to just share that out. Give me one moment and I will return. He steps out of the room for a while. About 15 minutes go by and he's accompanied by a small little gnome who is a little bit older. You can sense a little bit more powerful as well. Casey, since you're an aficionado on the Harples, do you want to give me a random Harple name?
Tiddlywink.
Tiddlywink, there we go. So, he greets you as Tiddlywink Harple. I understand you want our cubic gate. While we encourage experimentation here, and are completely eager in understanding how your cubic gate could be used in such temporary immortality, We cannot just give it away, even on the promise of being involved in such illustrious work.
Well, tell me, how can I help you?
Well,
Help me help you.
there is something you could help us with. We would be happy to trade if you happen to have something on you that is of high value. Alternatively, we do have something that we have struggled to get our hands on that a group like yourselves would be perfect to acquire. No rush on claiming it, but of course your need is greater than ours. So,
Can we talk about this? Can I confer with my friends? How dangerous is the mission that you have in mind? I'm assuming you're withholding information until.
I'll say this. We recently discovered a semi-permanent entrance to the Feywild here within Longsaddle. And we have been attempting to do some fun little experiments, though we've hit a bit of a snag. And we need some people to head into the Feywild and...
I'm just going to grab him at this point and go, yes! You want to pay me to go into the Feywild? It's all of my yes. Please, guys, can we go to the Feywild?
Aaron's going to be quite stone-faced still. What exactly do you need us to do in the Feywild?
Okay. Long story short, we've been trying to grow our little bit of civilized territory within the Feywild. I don't know how much you know about the Feywild, but it's almost a mirror of what we have here.
Absolutely nothing.
Perfect. Simplest form is it's almost a mirror of this world, but a little bit wild. So we wanted to civilize it up a little bit and do some experimentations with the wild magic that's down there. Now, we managed to broker a treaty with Queen Titania of the Sealy Court. Unfortunately, we've been unable to broker any such treaty with the Queen of the Unseelie Court. And she regularly gets involved and stops our experiments. So, we just need you to make your way through the wilds, get to her complex, acquire an item of great value to her, so that we have better bargaining chips.
You're going to have to tell us everything you know about everything.
If this is something you agree on, we will give you all the information that we have on how to get there, what to do when you're there, all of that stuff. Unfortunately, about the item, though, we can't really tell you what it is, because we don't really know. We just know it is called the Heart of Air and Darkness.
It sounds like you want us to steal.
Acquire for greater means.
Steal?
Greater things can come across if we can get such an item and broker such a valuable deal.
And he didn't say he wanted us to steal it. He said he wants us to go and by whatever means necessary get it. And that can involve not theft. It could involve extortion or just an outright purchase. This could be all above board.
Aaron's going to be like, you did say we could trade for this item. What would you take in trade?
What you have, a Cubicate is an extremely valuable, especially the one that we have. With the locations that it can transport you to, it's very valuable. And you see him look at your waist, at Black Razor that is...
Black Razor's on his back.
Okay, looks at your back, sorry. At the moonlight shining weapon strapped across your back.
This isn't a quest for me, this is a quest for Loic. He'd have that only big guy.
What about the only thing in the universe that will allow anyone to hold the Wand of Orcus?
You have me intrigued. You wouldn't happen to know what that wand is. I've been looking for it for a while, and I can't quite seem to get a fix on its location.
I'm really surprised you don't already know that. Can I insight/investigate him for being an illusion and...
Go ahead and insight him and roll an investigation. 2 separate things. Okay. He knows exactly where the Wand of Orcus is, but he is 100% there and 100% real.
Why are you asking me? You already know. Your eyes tell me a different story.
Okay, fine. I wanted to make sure you actually knew where it was. But what is this that you have that could help one wield the wand of focus?
It's an amazing item, and I've actually been holding on to it very, 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 very long time. If you guys could figure out its secrets, how to use it, and potentially how to recharge it, it may be more powerful than we even know at this point. And I will show him my ring of stone skin.
Ooh. Recharging a magical item is an easy feat. We do that all the time.
This is a little special.
Do you hand it over to him?
Not yet.
Okay. Will you allow him to touch it and identify it?
Yes, but I'm going to put it on so that he can't, take it off.
Okay.
I'm just going to go like that.
So you see him lightly caress the edge of it as he mutters the spell of identify, and his eyes light up. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, if any greater demon was to step foot in this plane, you guys just grab this, go grab the Wand of Orcus, Dunsky.
We know you have ties to those in Silvery Moon. Could you get us access to the wand, should we need it?
When was the last time you guys did anything political over there? When was the last time you guys nurtured the
couple
bombs?
Months ago.
That's not so bad. Who's your diplomat?
That would be Tumbles.
I think I might have seen him once or twice. Well, I don't represent them. I can speak to them,
Okay.
but that's the best that I can do for you.
Alright. Give me the ring. Give me your word in writing that you will aid us in being able to get access to the wand. Not getting the wand, just access to the wand.
Mm-hmm.
And we will make a trade.
Guys, is this preferable to going to the It's not preferable to me, but I will probably end up in the Feywild eventually somehow.
Roll stealing. So
I know even less about Orcus than I do about the Feywild, so I have no input.
Aaron, what do you think?
One's an awfully powerful item to be bargaining with.
Do I know that Long Saddle has ties to the Harpers?
Yes, you do.
Okay, I'm going to explain that.
So you can assume that if they did have the wand, chances are they probably wouldn't use it for nefarious means.
Aaron's aware, but he's always precarious about magic in the sense that maybe no one should be experimenting with this thing. It should be just kept away. But, this is Lorik's decision. He's got all the cards, so I'm not going to go against him.
Well, I would only...
It's preferable than going off and doing a heist mission for our bargaining position and possibly creating enemies in the Feywild that we don't need to. So...
I'm only making a mild suggestion to Silvery Moon to allow them access to the wand. It's up to Silvery Moon whether they're going to allow it. And I think that even Tiddlywinks here understands that it's beyond me. But I can give them this, and it's a start.
It's yours to give, Lorik. This is your personal quest. I'm not going to stand in your way.
All right. If you don't mind, though, sirs, could I see the gate before we make the exchange and do this professionally?
Yes. Give me just a moment. And he runs down, disappears, and then goes to get the cubic gate. So, takes a while, but eventually he returns with the cubic gate in hand, ready to trade. He allows you to look at it prior to actually the trade, if you wish, but you can't touch it.
Looks so unassuming.
Mm-hmm.
I'll definitely give him the ring for the trade. I believe him at this point.
Okay.
Everything's...
So he takes the ring. You see him look quite excited as he hands the cubic gate over to you. You now have a cubic gate.
I'm going to put this in a location where it can't be scryed. In the meantime, if you guys could begin working out what you would like to see in a defense system, because I do have to leave this somewhere on the other side in order to die and come back with it. So I got this box, and I pull out the box that I got from the freaking Cloud Giants a million years ago. And it's like, I figured you could put a couple of spells on this, we can contain it in this, and I'll be in contact about how that plan is developing. Does that sound good?
Got blinking eyes at you. She's like, yes, magic. Since no one's saying anything.
I was talking to the Harples.
Oh,
okay.
I thought you were talking to your party. That's
Yes,
why
I did
ignored
that.
what you were saying.
No. I told the Harples that they get to have input on how I keep this thing.
Oh, fair enough.
So I'm telling them to come up with a plan. I'll keep this in the meantime somewhere safe and on me, relatively.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll contact you guys later after giving them the box, saying, drop some magic on this box, give us a system, and I'll come back later for it.
You know how to find us. We would be very interested in your method of experimentation. So, yeah.
I do plan on writing research notes, and they will be distributed. I will include you in the distribution.
Thank you. Feel pretty good now. Well, is there anything the Harples can do for you all, or will you leave us in peace?
Do you have a shop?
What kind of a shop?
Well, you're mages. I imagine you have magical wares that you trade.
We can trade services, though nothing more. But at that point, as the deal has been made, we're actually going to end the session there for tonight, guys.
Okay.
Cool.
So, Loic got his cubic gate without venturing into the Feywilds, and you all kind of, after some RP in Longsaddle, which you're welcome to do, you start heading towards the Eye of the Allfather with your relics in tow, ready to move on to the next chapter of the adventure.
So my question is, for the RP, I mean, is there anything we need to take care of in terms of like purchasing stuff in Longsaddle, or do we just go straight to, well, we are on our way to the Eye of the Allfather?
It's up to you whether or not you want to spend some time in Longsaddle. You will learn very quickly that at the moment, other than basic food and supplies from the town, the Harples they're not really going to sell you magical items. You could purchase magical services from them, so if you want enchanting done, or you want a particular magical spell created, or whatever, that kind of thing you can get done, but they don't have items to sell you.
Cool.
Loic, those are the planes that the cubic gate leads to.
Whoa, Mount Celestia! Nice!
Right?
And Arborea.
Can I ask you a couple of things? So
Of course you can.
I take it we had a short rest.
Yes, on the ship
after
you
the
would have.
bat.
Yep.
Okay. Roughly what time would it be now?
I said you arrived in Longsaddle at about noon, so maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, so I've got 190 temp hit points, which would have died by now, but having just killed a giant this morning, I would presume that my temporary hit points would be boosted to whatever the giant would be.
The battle with the Draglots happened quite late in the day.
Okay.
A good couple hours, about mid-afternoon, so they're about to run out. You can't gain more temp hit points than you had, so I would personally say that...
I'm agreeing I can't gain more hit points, but I would be like, if I'm reducing, I would feel like my temp hit points would go from 190 to whatever the giant level was for the next 24 hours, because obviously it's initiated somewhere.
It was 120.
Yeah, so I'm happy to just drop that down now and say that's been done. Alright. I just wanted to be clear on where I was for next week. And the other thing is kind of like XP.
Oh, you want XP, do you?
Well, I kind of feel like if we've had a short rest,
Tie with XP is worse than Black Razor with souls. I give them to me. How many did I get?
I'm literally 230 away from level 12, so I'm like...
Then you get 229. Everyone else, however, gets 2,000, but you get 229. Everyone can have 2,000 XP.
I wanted to ask, what were you doing about Newfort?
That's up to you guys to decide what to do about Newfort.
Why are we going to the Allfather before going to Newfort?
The Allfather's going to be how many days to the Allfather?
200 miles. You typically travel in the ship at about 60 mile an hour. So, wait, that can't be right. No, 60 mile a day, sorry. So 3 days to get to the Eye of the Allfather.
From Longsaddle?
From Longsaddle.
And then how long from the Allfather to Newfort?
The Eye of the Allfather to Newfort is 413 mile, So it's 60 mile a day. That's 8 days, right?
So we're not going to get there in time for the 10 days.
No, not necessarily. But then again, from Long Saddle to New Fort is 8 days from now.
Yeah, but we still have 2 days in lieu, so...
Yep. That's up for you guys to decide what to do on that front. You had left Taman behind to help defend Megara, and New Fort is just more of a threat on Megara.
I thought with the Yap people that would be a lead to a giant.
Could be.
Didn't we say that one of the bars had gone quiet?
Citadel Felbar had gone quiet, which is just next to New Fort.
Don't know about the rest of you, but that seems more pressing. Especially since we only have a 10-day window before they know that their plan failed. So at the moment they're probably feeling quite confident with themselves.
Well, I'm all about picking up all the side quests that we can get, and that would point us to New Fort.
Gamel's concerned enough about Citadel Felbar that he could be talked into that. He tends to think, well, you got Taman and Brunor, like that'll be fine. But if that's what people want to do, he'd be willing to investigate on behalf of the guild.
Everyone's going to go with the flow here. Seems like we haven't got a time issue with going to the Eye of Your Fathers. We have got a time issue about investigating this thing. So,
well, Brassic wanted to go back to Klauth ASAP, and Leo.
Yeah, we didn't explain to Brassic that after we've done our things, we can maybe see Klaus, and he seemed okay with that.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking now Newport, then Eye of the All-Father, and Eye of the All-Father is quite close to where Klauth was supposed to be. Is that not correct? Roughly,
Klauth is up there.
That seems to be the preferred order now. Is that fair to say?
Sounds like a good order.
Okay.